it's over for now. It's currently hosted online on Internet Archive. And like 300 copies here whenever Valentine picks them up for sale. But I will put that in the Senate like thing. Okay. Thanks.
And I wanted to make an announcement. Oh, no, sorry.
Sorry about that. Sorry to interrupt you. I wanted to make a quick Osberg update announcement. They don't seem to be here. We had a lobby day today for our food waste program, trying to help tackle the problem of hunger in Oregon, and mass amounts of food waste. So I believe 10 to, I wasn't there today, 10 to 15 people had just over 30 meetings in sales today. So
And I wanted to make an announcement helps forming a working group. I don't know if any of you's heard, but Big Ten is planning to sell some of its stake to private equity, and the UO is one of the leading voices in the Big Ten on that, which is very disappointing. And it does seem like the school, there's not much that can be done to stop it from happening, but when it does happen, I would like people to be at the forefront of like advocating for those funds to be put into the school itself and not just be held by the athletic department. So I was hoping I could make a working group to on the allocation of Big Ten funds. So motion to make a working group on the allocation of Big Ten funds. Motion made by Gill, seconded by Bailey. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The working group is formed. Thank you, guys. And moving forward in the agenda, if there's no more announcements. Oh, yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Seisha Inez. Can you guys hear me? Okay. My name is Seisha Inez. I am the Secretary of Campus Life under the Executive Branch. I am also acting as one of the leads for the Student Ticket Working Group. So earlier in the term, Cash should have come to one of these meetings to announce the forming of this working group. It was a while since then, so I kind of want to reiterate what our mission is or what our goals are currently. So we are a student-led initiative dedicated to ensuring that the UO Athletics Department's sports pass football ticketing system is equitable and student-centered. Our core mission is to advocate for student needs and ensure that any decisions from UO Athletics affecting the student body, such as changing the sports pass system, are made with prior notice and direct student input. Currently, our primary focus is on conducting a campus-wide survey to define exactly what an equitable and ideal ticketing system looks like to students, because we kind of have the general idea that there's a lot of outrage towards the change in the system. However, we want the statistics to show that athletics next term when we present it to them and make our proposals. So this survey that I'm referring to made its debut at the State of the University. However, we need many more responses. We're currently sitting at 50. And to put into perspective, 10,000 sports passes were sold this year. So we need a much bigger number. There are multiple ways that we're doing that, but if you guys could give me a helping hand right now, you can scan this QR code and fill out the survey yourselves. You do not have to be a sports pass purchaser to give your input. Our target audience in general are students. Some other ways that we're getting this out, you will see it on the Instagram this week. We're also going to be putting up flyers around the campus. It will be on EMU screens. We're also going to be passing out small flyers with the QR code in front of the rec, or a list at other sports events and student sections. We're also looking to have tabling events to just talk to students about the situation. And something that I did want to inform you guys about is this week. Our focus is on how we can use the USC game to get the survey out. So can I ask how many of you were thinking about going to college game day? Hey, well, I won't ask you guys for anything upfront, but I do want to let you guys know that some of our exec members, along with myself, will be out there with posters with the QR code, the survey QR code. It will say, "Unhappy with the season sports pass system." Tell ASU about it. basically what I asked of exec members is if you are currently planning on going to college game day, would you be willing to hold up one of these posters while you're there? It's not really a volunteership thing. It's just I'll give you one of these posters, or you can help make them tomorrow. I'll be in the ASUO office from 11:30 a.m. to who knows when. So if you are interested in doing so, you can message me on Teams. Again, my name is Seisha, and then also I'll be in the office tomorrow morning and afternoon. That's all.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. I definitely encourage people to partake in that. A lot of students are very upset about that, and it represents a larger issue at the school, with the school not including students in decisions that are made that impact them. So thank you very much. Moving forward, we now have public forum. Would anybody wish to speak for public forum? Hi. One, you have been talking nicely. Right. Sure. I'm gonna start with topic one. During the spring, I received a code of conduct violation during the strike for government disruption, even out. And I was really confused about why I received one because I wasn't a worker, I wasn't in the union, I wasn't in leadership at all. And I'm wondering if if admin is targeting organizers and if there's anything ASUO can do about it. I'm proposing a joint working group between the executive branch and the legislative branch. And yeah. We actually currently have a working group. We're revising code of conduct statute with the executive branch currently, looking into ways that we can add more students to the review board, looking for ways that we can make the system more transparent, and then looking for ways that we can hopefully reduce the amount of weaponization that come in contact towards like targeting campus activism. So thank you very much for bringing that forward. Hi, on. Senator Operative.
Say also like UOSW is actively like, filing ULP. I think I can talk about it now because we have a hearing date set. So that hearing will be sometime soon.
Yeah, on to my second point. I was talking to Senator Taylor about this earlier about what contracts CFC, what services CFC contract like operations wise. Whether that has ties to what's going on in Sudan and the UAE, or to the UAE, or to what's happening in the we did find one which would be some more ties, and I would want one more working group to see what ties ASUO has to UAE and other states. Yeah. Anyone make the motion?
You repeat that, I got a little lost.
Sorry. Basically, when I was talking to Senator Taylor, I asked him, is there any contracts that CFC has that have ties to the UAE or what's happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo? With the cobalt and technology that is being used, and well used in our technology here on campus. And he found one so far when I was talking to him last Friday, that being the UAE with Uber, with Uber having a partnership with Emirates Airlines, I believe, which is then owned by the state, flying revenue for the state, which then goes to the Raffles Corpus in Sudan, which is committing crimes against humanity. So yeah, I'm wondering if there is more ties and see if ASUO can investigate that within, I guess, y'all's contracts.
Is that important? So CFC, I'm not opposed to the working group, but is that just for CFC to do it?
Senator Smith.
I think. Would you like be okay with that if it was CFC working on that?
And would you like to come to CFC at our next meeting and we can collaborate and look through our contracts and like find a way to work through that? Because it is mainly CFC, like all the contracts are handled by the contracts. So I'm on that committee too, so I'd be more than happy to look through that.
I think it would also be helpful because I know like within CFC, we have more context in the work that we do than other people would, and it might be more efficient than forming a new group and like figuring out that availability. Like we meet regularly. So would that be like, would you be okay if that was a project that we took on, CFC?
Yeah, I think I would be very interested in that. Let's talk so see if they would be interested in that. Yeah, I'll get back. Thanks so much.
And you.
Thanks, Alex. We'll reach out and then we will have a CFC meeting where we go through the contracts. But thank you. Yes, thank you for coming. Moving forward on the agenda, we have new business, starting with a resolution vote. This, I will have Senator Peters, PFC Chair, present it.
Okay, so this is the Senate retreat resolution. This resolution was passed in 2023, and it basically defines what a retreat is, but really it also defines the intent to travel form in some parts. It sets a lot of rules for student orgs on what type of travel they are doing, how many people can come, if those people can be people graduating next term, and a lot of things like that. This resolution was made when Surplus was really big, like as an effort to have rules regarding travel. The thing with this retreat is that we are not following it. There are just rules in this resolution that since I've discovered it, I know that we are not following. And I think it's unfair for a resolution that is determining how student organization financial support is looking at student travel requests to not also be dictating our choices as senators. I am personally in favor of repealing this and then forming a new working group to write a better retreat resolution, because we can't just repeal this and get rid of it because it does dictate the intent to travel form. That's my only hesitation with repealing it. But I've been talking a very long time with members of SOFS and my committee as well about rewriting this travel resolution because we don't have good definitions of what types of travel exist. So this resolution could let a site visit be a retreat, or could let it creates loopholes that I think we need to have strict definitions for. Oh, Fisher.
I'm just wondering, if we repeal this now, but then we have to like have a working group and make a whole new one, like if there's going to be any issues in the discrepancy of the time between we repeal this and then have a new.
Essentially for this gap period, it would all fall on me to enforce what we've agreed upon in the financial priorities for this year, because there are those definitions in there. And so in that bridge, I would have to be basically enforcing what we currently been doing now, so it wouldn't wouldn't change our practices.
And would it change anything for the student boards themselves if and when they're filling out anything? Repealing this and then having it.
Not to my knowledge, no.
We would follow the rules we've been following all throughout the school year that we all agreed upon, but they contradict this.
Okay, I see, I yield.
Lauren?
Stevens.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that clarification. I had very similar questions to Senator Fisher. So the only difference then in repealing this now versus repealing this after the working group is formed and we've created a new version would be what, if we're already not?
Introducing confusion for student works, because sometimes student works come and they make plan off of this resolution, and we're not currently planning off this resolution. It's creating a lapse in communication.
Okay, cool, thank you, I yield.
Can I just make a motion to repeal it? I move to repeal ASUO Senate Retreat Resolution 2023-001.
Seconded Peters.
Motion made by O'Neill, seconded by Peters. Motion's on the floor and Senator Peters still has the floor.
Yeah, I yield the sentence to Speaker Gill.
No one's on the list, and if there are no more questions, we can move to vote. Colonel Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Hopperton. So, Broussard.
Aye.
Hopperton.
Aye.
Pemberton.
Aye.
Amodiafe. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Nagarajan. Stevenson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Morrell. Fisher.
Aye.
Westbury.
Aye.
Goodman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Awesome, and the resolution is repealed. Interviews.
I move to form a working group to rewrite the Senate Retreat Resolution.
Second O'Neill.
Motion made by Peters, seconded by Ludeman. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the working group is formed. Anybody would like to be a part of that? Do you want to leave that or? Okay.
I
You can
I
call.
do not have the capacity to lead. This is why we also needed to.
So contact me if you're interested in being a part of that and I can delegate it out. Moving forward on the agenda, we have a confirmation hearing for the elections board. You guys want to come up and introduce yourselves?
My name is Patrick Love, and I should be in the experience because not only has she a lot of experience in politics already, but she's really usually people are too loud. Usually she's really into transparency and getting people involved. I really like what she talked about in regards to being more inclusive. I think that's gonna be a really big key part in getting more people interested in voting. And I just really liked what she talked about in regards of how about that and things like that. Plus, she had amazing reviews from the other people who interviewed her. So I think we should definitely bring her on the team and get started as soon as possible.
Awesome, thank you guys so much. I can open up to questions. Oh yeah, did you want to come introduce yourself as well? Sorry.
Hey guys, my name is Willow Sterling. I am from Vermont. I am pretty involved in politics. I always have been. I grew up in a family very involved. Feel pretty passionate about it. I'm really excited to get started here at ASUO.
Great, thank you so much. We'll start questioning with Senator Fisher.
Hi, Willa. Thanks so much for being here. A couple of questions. First question, where are you from in Vermont? I love Vermont.
I'm from Montclair.
It's beautiful there.
Little town, but it's pretty great. I love it. And I miss it a lot.
I love it. Why did you move here?
I figured Oregon was kind of the West Coast version of Vermont. It's pretty similar vibes, and I knew it's time to see new things. Vermont's pretty small, and
I love it. I love Vermont. In terms of your work with the elections board, I was wondering, like, what goals do you have? Do you have any ideas? And it's okay if the answer is no, but if
I
you
would
have
say goals mainly. I want people to show up, turn out, vote. I think getting a bigger voter turnout would be a great goal. I want people to feel included mainly. I want people to feel like they know what they're voting for, when voting is. I think logistics and communication be two really awesome things we can work on and make sure people feel like we're transparent and we want them to feel included. Yeah.
Perfect. I love that. Do you have any ideas as of yet as to how you do that? Again, you can say no. It is okay.
when I was in my interview with Jordan, we were talking about this exact question, and I asked him what he thought, like one big way the elections board could increase voter turnout, and he said he thinks something as simple as a voting booth in the middle of campus on a busy day, and I literally, I think there's few things that would be more effective than something as simple as that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I just want to say I love your name and
Senator Bailey.
Hi, okay, well, you said you were involved in politics for a while. I'm just curious, like, what does that look like for you?
Totally. So I grew up in the capital, and usually people think capital is big town. Is my town is 7,000 people, so I'm a minute walk from the state house. My dad was always really involved in politics. I was always doing stuff with him. I was a legislative page in 2020, right before it got cut off by COVID, unfortunately. But me and a bunch of other students my age were working in the state house with senators and representatives, doing mostly like things younger students would do, but it was still such a experience, and I learned so much. We were sitting in on bills and stuff like that. It was really fun. I also did a little bit of campaigning for Congresswoman Becca Balint. It's now Congresswoman in Washington, D.C., and that was super incredible. We were mostly doing phone banking where I was, but still just talking with voters about what incentivized them, what made them feel like they wanted or didn't want to be involved in politics. It was big for me. Really made me think about how I want people to feel involved in their government. They get a say in what's happening around them. Yeah.
You may yield.
Senator Smith.
So, in your experience with campaigning and everything, what are some things that you've seen that have brought out the most engagement in people?
I would say when you can connect with voters on something that they feel passionate about, that is when they really start to care, whether that be like when I was doing a lot of phone banking, a lot of women felt really passionately about Congresswoman Becca Balint's view on like Roe v. Wade, all the reproductive rights stuff, and it was almost always a question with female voters on whether that was like in her agenda to focus on that stuff. So I think really just trying to connect on voters with what is important to them. That's I think where you find people to. Thank you.
Senator Cruz.
Hey, Willa, thanks for being here. A couple of questions I had is, how do you feel that your passion for politics will translate into the role in the sense of trying to improve your goals, especially getting a bigger voter turnout? So maybe you don't have like a concrete answer, but I was just curious if there's like any alignment to it.
Yeah, I would say I've always felt really passionate that people feel included. I know I've said that word a lot, but I think it's a really big thing, especially on the elections board. I think when people feel included and represented, they feel like they want to engage with their community and give back and keep it standing strong. And I think if we can show students at UO that we care about them and we feel like we're properly representing them, I think we will see contributions coming back to us and more support and more voter turnout.
So thank you. I yield.
Senator O'Neill.
Hello, Willow. Thank you for coming in. My question is, well, as you probably know, ASUO here is structured very similarly to the federal government. I'm wondering if there are any specific aspects of the voting system in the federal government that you agree or disagree with and think that should or shouldn't be used here at an ASUO level.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the voting tactics here are that are used, but a couple senators that I worked closely with back in 2020, we were all passionate about we were trying to make a bill to go towards lean towards the popular vote in the federal election. Very far, but that was a big movement for us. I would say popular vote is usually the best way to go in elections, in my opinion, but teach their own.
Yeah, I'm also wondering, do you vibe with ranked choice voting? Ranked choice voting?
Not
Oh, okay, yeah, it's like where you can have you can have a first choice and a second choice and a third choice, and then your first choice gets like 3 points, and then your second choice gets 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I don't see a problem with that. I think anything that will get students to engage more with voting is probably the best to take.
Okay, thank you, Ayul.
As it changed to ASUO, like ranked choice voting, we just switched to it where it's like rank, and then if someone doesn't get a majority of the vote, the lowest ranked person gets taken off, and then they retabulate, and then if whoever gets the majority wins. Do you think that system is better than a runoff system, which is what ASUO historically has used before we switched to this ranked choice system?
I think the ranked choice sounds more.
Thank you. Senator Fisher.
I yield. I was just gonna correct the definition.
And that concludes the list for now. We'll have you step outside for a moment and we'll deliberate amongst ourselves. Then as soon as we're ready, we'll come out and grab you. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. Okay. No, no mics, but we'll now start deliberation. I did send Senator Smith sent a resume in the ASUO Senate group chat, so feel free to click on that and give it a gander. And we'll open it up for questions. And you're all good, Cassie. We had someone send it in the group chat.
Oh, good. So I was trying to do the air transfer and then.
Yeah, I think her gauge submission is, I don't know if she's nervous or just, I probably, definitely. But I guess I'm curious, like in the interview, did she lead with, because she's got some very interesting things in her, like in here. Like her father was a union organizer at University of Vermont, the campaign manager for Bernie Sanders. And she did like youth climate activism. And I guess with my question, I was trying to get that out of her, but it was not successful. So like, did she like speak to those things in the interview? Right.
Who are you yielding to, myself or Cassie?
Oh, you would like to answer.
She was really nervous. I was talking to her when I got here and she was saying how very nervous she was. She's fine, but she did talk to me a little bit about it when I called and just got to know her a little bit, so.
Yeah, on the first interview, yeah, we talked about those things about her background and her family background and like the little experience she had. And yeah, we considered her. I can see this. We considered her for election board chair. Obviously Cassie, but we also suggested to Cassie kind of like resume background. Would pass it on, but did not like pass it on the resume.
I was just gonna say that concludes the list. So if we're ready to vote, we can move to vote now. Oh yeah, we don't have a motion yet. Rajan?
I just have a question, like how popular, like how common is like ranked choice voting common knowledge? Like from my understanding, I thought it was like common knowledge.
This is Senator Fish one answer.
No. Oh, no mind. Okay, yeah, so ranked choice voting is not very common. Ranked choice voting is only used in a very few select elections in very few states. It is becoming more and more popular, but it's not very used. And then the actual like how ranked choice voting works. is, let's say there's three candidates, right? It's me, it's Cole, and it's Piper. It would rank me 1, Cole 2, and Piper 3. But then if I don't get majority of the vote, then your next choice, Cole, would get your vote. And if Cole doesn't get majority of the vote after that, then it would go to your third choice. And so it's ranking your votes and adjusting proportions based on who is achieving the popular vote. It's not popular.
But you want to make a motion?
My motions. To confirm.
To appoint this, is their name to?
Okay, I motion to appoint Willow Sterling to elections board.
Second Perez. Motion made by Nagaraj, seconded by Perez. Motion to appoint Willow Sterling to election board. The motion is now on the floor. If there are no more questions, we'll now move to vote. Starting with Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Copperhead. Heffernan. Amodiafe. Chisholm. Nagarajan.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Morel. Fisher.
Aye.
Quesenberry.
Aye.
Newman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Do you mind to go grab her real quick? Congrats, Willow. Thank you so much. You did do great work and thanks for coming to answer our questions. Then now moving forward on the agenda, we will go to financial business, starting with our transfer request from sports and entertainment law firm. Oh, yes, the recap of finances. So currently surplus at $436,363. Surplus requests for the evening are at $96,131. And then currently unallocated reserves sits at $27,455. And then I will copy and paste those on the agenda. And then we'll start with our transfer request from sports and entertainment law firm. Do we have a representative from sports and entertainment law firm? Senator Stevenson.
I move to table the request from Sports and Entertainment Law Firm.
Second, Perez. Motion made by Stevenson, seconded by Perez. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the request has been tabled. Moving into surplus requests, first up, we have Students for Global Health. We have a representative from Students for Global Health.
I'm here.
Oh. Okay. Do you still want the floor?
Yes. So we are requesting surplus funds for a line item we already have made called movie night, I think. We're requesting more because we would like to book a private screening at Metro Cinemas, and we don't have enough money in the line item to do that.
Great, thank you so much. Senator Stevenson.
So for clarification, were you going to go to a different movie theater and then change your plans?
Well, we didn't have specific plans about a theater to go to. We were exploring options and we put $100 in the line item just to have the line item made and some money set aside. But we just confirmed with the cinema that they can show the film that we are hoping to see. So now we want to move forward with that plan.
Thank you, IU.
Hi Valerie, thanks for coming tonight. I had a quick question about why you chose to show it in a movie theater. I found that the movie that you're viewing is like available free on like streaming services. I was wondering what the reason behind that.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a fun way to connect our members. we've been talking during meetings, and they do seem interested in seeing the film, but also being outside of campus during events. So we thought this would be a good way to bring together those two desires.
Thank you so much.
I think this sounds like a cool event for the group. I was just thinking to authorize that global health, OS number 251
Mhm.
in the amount of $225.
Motion made by Heffernan, seconded by Chisholm. Any continued discussion? And that Senator Chisholm.
Hey Valerie, I'm just wondering what the evidence is about.
A film. It's about our sister organization that's called Partners in Health. It talks about the founders and how they sort of came to realize that there needed to be a change in the global health sphere. So it talks about their work in Haiti, and it talks about a lot of the work they do in Peru and their tuberculosis programming around the world as well.
Very interesting idea.
Senator Stevenson.
I call the question.
All right, we will now move to vote, starting with Perez. Oh, yeah, we can just do. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And those who wish to abstain. And the request is approved. Thank you so much for coming, Valerie.
Yes, thank you all.
And then next on the agenda, we have medicine and ministry. We have a representative from medicine and ministry. Senator Fisher.
I move to table the request from those.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Perez. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Those who wish to abstain. Question is tabled. Moving to the Association of Pre-Physician Associates. Do we have a representative from Association of Pre-Physician Associates? Senator Fisher.
I move to table the request from associations of pre-physician associates.
Perez.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Perez. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed. Any questions on the table? Next, we have Magic the Gathering Club.
Hello, I'm Bruno Belforte. I'm here on behalf of the Magic the Gathering Club.
Great, thank you so much for being here. Please feel free to share a little about your request.
Yeah, we're requesting $870 in order to host a draft event that will be in week 10 of the term. The last year, the treasurer and some of the staff on our board dropped out of UO halfway through the term, so we weren't able to get in the correct budget for this quarter, which we've submitted for next year. But until then, we need to do this budget request in order to continue our normal events.
Thank you so much for sharing. We'll now open it up for questions, and we'll start with Senator O'Neill.
Hello, thank you for coming in. It says here that each participant receives 6 booster packs. Yeah, 6 booster packs. Is there a reason why it's specifically the number 6? Is that like the most convenient for the game or something?
The event that we're doing is a draft. So the idea is that everyone gets these 6 packs, which is a total of, I believe, 120 cards. And they use those cards to make a deck in order to play against each other. And the reason why we do this specifically is that it's just a common format for drafts to have that many cards. And it also means that people that are new to Magic are able to get into it without having to invest their own money and are able to walk away from the event with a bit of a collection.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Bailey.
Hi, sorry about what happened with your previous leadership. That's really difficult.
Thank you.
Are you going to have to come back to ask for more money for future events, or is it just this that wasn't factored into the budgeting for this year?
I believe our plan for this year, well, the different events end up costing different amounts, and we have put in a budget change request, but that doesn't go into effect until next year. So I believe we are going to have to request a surplus each quarter because we do one event per quarter usually, in addition to our weekly meetings.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Senator Peters.
Hi, I was just wondering if you had all the 9-5 numbers for the 24 students that you're planning to give the packs to.
We do not have that currently yet because we are going to be randomly selecting students where we'll have just a thing where they can sign up and we'll randomly select 24 because we usually get more than that who want to sign up. We do have the 9-5 numbers of students from attendance of the past few club meetings. But as for the people that will actually be in the event, it'll just be a free random selection between whoever wants to sign up.
I believe in order to actually purchase the goods, you're gonna need to have the 9-5s of the students who will receive them already.
Okay.
But as long as you, it sounds like you have 9-5s of people who will be participating, but since it's over $10, you need to have the student ID numbers, just for our policies. I yield.
All right. We can absolutely get that in time before purchasing any product.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so wait, this is on top of, do you have a budget for this year? Or is this like extra on top of your usual budget? Sorry,
That is a good question. I believe we do have a budget set for this year, but I think it was like less or somewhere around $700, which isn't enough to run a single event, let alone for the entire year. So when that was set up last year, I don't think that they knew that that was by year instead of by quarter. So we're just unfortunately, this is kind of a temporary measure until we can get the proper works in place to have a solid budget. But yeah, this would be outside of our normal budget, which is not enough for a single event.
thank you. And
Just a reminder that I forwarded everybody the ledgers of all the student works that are supposed to send it tonight, and those ledgers can look at their budgets and line items. So that'll be in your little emails.
Hello, do you guys have a like communal deck or cards for everybody?
Yeah, there's a couple different formats in Magic. So we have a couple of decks that we lend out to people. The other co-president, Torin, and I have about 4 decks between the two of us that we lend out to people who come to weekly meetings who want to play. But for these events, it requires getting new cards and opening them from packs as opposed to having pre-made decks for people to use. So during normal weekly meetings, there are cards available, but for events like this, we have to purchase new ones.
And then kind of going forward for these events, do you plan on adding more to the communal collection or do you plan on just keeping it as like giveaways?
Yeah, I think, well, we have like the communal cards that are already in like pre-made decks. But for when we do these events, it's mostly giveaways. So that way, people who are new to Magic are able to build up their own personal collection and hopefully like get a start on this hobby, which historically has a pretty high barrier to entry in terms of money.
Sure, thank you. I yield.
Neil?
Yeah, so I'm Well, first off, I'd like to say that I do support this purchase. I'm Magic the Gathering Club's tag, and I met with them about their events, and I believe they have even up to 2 meetings per week, which is quite a lot for many orgs. And on top of that, their natural budget does not account for this sort of thing. Their events also get quite a lot of people when they're here. And I think it's really important for people to be able to get a head start into the hobby and not immediately have to buy their own packs in order to know whether or not they like the game. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make a motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to group Magic the Gathering Club OS number OS342I in the amount of $870 to existing line item name events 2.
Nate Peters.
Motion made by Neil, seconded by Peters. We got a motion on the floor. Sorry.
So I didn't really know this. I can see. I had a quick question about exactly what the $870 is going towards line by line. So like what percent of that is going towards packs? What percent of that is going to merchandise, to apparel, to prizes, etc.?
Yeah, so 100% of it would be going towards packs that we would use for this event. We already have equipment for people to use, such as like dice, play mats, and sleeves and stuff like that. So the only thing that we're missing at this point is the cards.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then everybody that's receiving a pack, are they people that have received packs in the past, or are they like regular members of the club, or is this just for new people that are curious about the game?
That's a great question. So anyone who is part of the club is able to join, whether it's new members who haven't come to meetings before or people who come every week. That being said, when we used to do multiple events in a quarter, we would try and prioritize people who hadn't been in events before that quarter or that year. But as of right now, we're just letting any students who are a member of the club sign up and join.
And when you guys do events like this, how many new members do you generally get, or is it generally people that come to the club on a regular basis?
It is, I will say it is majority people who come to the new club that actually attend the event. But what we end up seeing happening by word of mouth is that attendance goes up during our normal meetings after people hear about the draft, because then they realize they either hear from friends about like getting free cards or stuff like that, and we usually see a bit of an upturn in people showing up either after events or like right before new events. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Senator Nagaraj.
Okay, so I was just wondering, are the cards going to the club or are they going to individuals in the club to keep? Like,
They are going. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I was. They are going all to the individuals who participate in the events, and yeah. So we're the club like staff is not keeping any of the cards other than what like if we get selected for the event, then you would get like the 6 packs, but they're just distributed throughout the players that join and not kept by the club.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Senator Perez.
Do you guys plan on having more of these events?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, 2 years ago, we had the staff that we had was really on top of it, and we were able to have like 2 events a quarter. And then last year, things really slowed down when we had a staff change a couple times. So we're hoping to just get a solid baseline of like one major draft a term going forward these next couple quarters. Although we do have other events like Cube, which is where we'll have members that bring in like 400 cards of their own personal collection and will use those to hold kind of like mini draft events. The only problem with that is that we're relying on like different club members or staff members on having those cards. So this helps take the burden off of them in order to just make it easier to run these.
Okay, and do you plan on all your events give away card or just the bigger ones?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Do you plan on all your events, you're gonna give away cards or just the bigger ones?
Just the large ones that we do once a quarter is where we give away cards. We meet twice a week right now on Mondays and Wednesdays for 3 hours each. And usually on Wednesday meetings, we do mini events where people get to make their own decks, but then return the cards to the club staff. But with these events, the larger draft that we do once a term, that's when they'll get to keep the cards.
Gotcha. So is it the only time for people to actually walk with their own cards is from these events that are once a term?
Yes,
Gotcha. Thank you, I yield.
thanks.
Thanks for answering all your questions. I do have one more. My concern, I think the event seems very cool, and I love that you guys are bringing people in. I enjoy playing with friends sometimes myself, but I just want to make sure that these cards are going towards people that you're trying to like bring into your club, and we're not just like supplementing the same people getting the cards term after term after term. Is there any sort of thing that you guys could do to like assure that new members get priority or that like these are being distributed equitably?
Absolutely. I think when we're having people sign up, we could have them indicate if it's their first year in club or not, or if they've been to our drafts, and we could give them priority for signing up or like give them priority to pick first. So I think that's one way that we could do that. I'm sure there are others we could figure out.
Awesome. Is that something you have to be willing to do?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Especially if it means being able to put the event on and bring new people in. Yeah,
Awesome. Thank you, Senator Stevenson.
thank you.
As a question of like people taking it home, do you feel like it would make more sense potentially to have it be something that you guys keep so that we don't have to give you the same amount each quarter or more and then a little less? Like if you guys keep the cards and then, hey, 20-person draft in this quarter and then 20-person draft next quarter instead of giving away the cards, does that?
Yeah, that's a very valid question. We do have something set up called Cube, which is where you have a set of a specific like cultivated cards where it'll be like 500 cards that one person picked out each and every individual one, and you'll like go through it, and then at the end you put them all back together. But with drafts like these, it's kind of like a one-way process where once you like open up the packs and get the cards out of them, then you can't really use the same ones for the drafts because they're no longer like sealed and randomized. So the idea behind this is that, like we said before, people are able to like join in without having to bring anything, and that our staff members don't have to invest their own money in order to create events like this.
And for context, these events are generally like the whole point of them is opening new packs and then doing the draft off of the packs themselves. So like for these events, they're meant to draw in like new people to the game that don't have a pack, and then you get like the rush of opening 6 new ones and creating your own thing. So like that's like part of what these draft events are about. But
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Just so you know, I'm not in favor of this just because if we say yes, then we would have to do it every quarter. And yeah, I don't know if we're in a position to do that as a government. Thank you, I yield.
I love watching my brother play Magic the Gathering in summer camp, so this is fun throwback for me. I was wondering, kind of piggybacking off of Stevenson, would it be possible to have, if someone, is at this event and they have been in your club and they have done this before, I know you're prioritizing first time, but if someone reoccurring comes in,
would you be willing to maybe keep the cards that they open for, you know, later like communal use in your club? Because I get the point of like opening new cards, but that might be more sustainable for like the funding. Wait, I yield to Peters.
When something is bought with ASUO funds and it's not being like given to a student, but it's like kept in common, there are specific rules on like it has to be kept somewhere that's locked, and because it's technically ASUO property if it's like something that is owned by the club. So I am again, yeah, I do.
Okay. And since I'm assuming they said their communal ones are owned by them, that's not okay. You don't have to answer that question then. I yield.
Okay, thank you.
Senator, sorry.
I want to say I agree with Senator Stevenson. Also, probably voting no for this as it currently stands. The quick math is everyone's getting $36 of take home for Magic the Gathering cards, which I think is really cool. Like this event sounds awesome. I do think $870 as it stands, especially wanting to repeat that once a term. I think there might be other ways to bring in new people.
Right, and that concludes this. We will now move to vote. Rez. Peters.
Nay.
Fisher.
Right.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith. Sorry.
Nay.
Hoffman. Amadiefe. Jenkins Scott. Chisholm. Nagarajan. Stevenson. Bailey.
Nay.
Morel.
Nay.
Fisher.
Aye.
Olsenberry.
Aye.
Lindemann.
Nay.
And I say nay. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your request a lot.
Thank you for your time.
Feel free to reach out to me and maybe we can collaborate in a way to like lower the price and we can maybe work something out that works for your club.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Then moving forward on the agenda, we have the American Marketing Association. Smith.
Before I move to table, they do have no more than 9,000 as their request, and I feel like we should talk to them about having a real number about that. But like, I moved to table the request.
I saw that on there. I know when I met with them, it's the only reason I didn't like have them change it. It is 9,000. I think they're just yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is their way, I think, of being like, it's no more than 9,000, we promise.
Okay, I see. I moved to table the request from the Independent Marketing Association.
Second, Stevenson.
Motion made by Smith, seconded by Stevenson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the request is tabled. I will reach out to all of these boards tomorrow. And then next on the agenda, we have our head, Harris, you will. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Of course. Hi everyone, my name is Mayra Marin. I'm the internal director for Young Mujeres here. And I'm just here to speak on Tu Excelencia, which is our yearly event that we hold at the end of spring term. I'll kind of say my spiel, it's kind of long, sorry. But then at the end, we can go over the picture slides, so you can get a visual of how the event is. So the purpose of Noche Excelencia is to create a meaningful celebration for the Latinx community on campus, featuring inspiring speakers, recognition for the stands and a safe environment. And the time when our community continues to endure harassment and discrimination, mistreatment, and events like this are not just celebrations, they're acts of resilience. Many students and their families carry the stress of navigating unsafe environments and unequal treatment. So that will remind us that our heritage is powerful, that celebrating who we are is something to take pride in, and that our culture is meant to be shared openly, not hidden. This event is one of the biggest recurring events held for the Latina community here at the UO. Mujeres leads and organizes the event, but the people who attend come from all the Latina organizations here on campus. Throughout this event, although this event is centered around the Latina community, it is open to the whole student body. These funds will be used to make it possible. It will be in the Memorial Quad on May 22nd, 2026 from 5 to 11 p.m. In this event, we'll also be providing catering, a photo booth, and other activities. We are expecting 250 students to attend, but plan. Our goal is to create a welcoming space for the Latina community on campus where they can be recognized, place to come together, celebrate with each other. For this request, we are asking $25,016. We do have an itemized breakdown for every single dollar we are requesting that I can go over right now. We plan for everything. Basically, this money is being broken down into 6 groups, that being the venue, destination events, catering, some goodie bags, awards, and unanticipated funds. We're doing 10,780 for the venue, 10,134 for destination events, 6,000 for catering, 1,000 for goodie bags, 500 awards, and 1,000 unanticipated expenses. For the venue, and then I can go in point into all of those too. For the venue, we always do a photo booth with It's the Emerald, and they do a $500 charge. We do get live music for the event, and it's kind of within it's a big group. They have a whole bunch of instruments, and we're doing 6,500 for them. The EMU helps us out with sound, and based off last year's budget, they charged us 930. We want 500 for decorations, 250 for parking. We want to have, last year we had a bounce house and we're thinking a mechanical pool this year. And we have 1,500 for that, which we averaged off from different quotes that we received from people. We have $600 for fees, because the big issue we ran into last year was a whole bunch of fees that we anticipate seeing were thrown at us. So this takes into account like fire marshal fee and a whole bunch of other stuff. This event is mostly based off destination events. There's people help us, because last year we did try working with the EMU for all the problems arose with that. Like, it took way too long in the timeline of the event. It was just easier to get everything from one person, so it was a lot less going. I can go off what we have for destination events. We are getting a 30 by 30 dance floor, which is 1,450. And with that dance floor, we have to get a subfloor, which is $300. We have a stage set, a stage skirt, round tables, the folding chairs, the delivery and drop-off time, generators, lighting, and the tent weights that we also have to get. And we are getting a 40 by 100 tent in the Memorial Quad, and we're also getting fire extinguishers for them. And all of that totals the amount I said at the beginning. If you'd like me to go every single one, I can also do that for like in the future. Catering, we're doing 5,500 food, and then we have 300 for drinks and 200 for desserts. We're doing $1,000 for goodie bags, and we're gonna make the goodie bags less than $10, so we can make more goodie bags for less money. Awards, we have a key part of budget is that we dedicate 3 awards for 3 Latina student boards here. So Mujeres gets 3 awards, LMA gets 3 awards, Mencha gets 3 awards, and it's basically awards that recognize their members for scholarship, leadership, and push gen. And they get a little basket, which will total less than $50. But when you add that all up, it's $500 awards. And then we have $50 for printing. Now, if you add up all that, it does equal more than the amount we're requesting. That is because we also have been looking for some other sorts of funding to make it a little easier. We have $1,348 in our ledger right now for Noche, and on top of that, last year, We received, sorry, I need my water. My mouth's getting really dry. Last year we talked to the Alumni Center and the Patos alumni was able to give us $1,000, and we feel pretty confident that we can receive that same funding this year too. Because of how successful the event was last year, we received a grant from the UO Advancement Diversity Committee, which is $900 to the event this year. And then the MCC does $600 for the student tickets there, which we are going to apply for, and all of that will go to the grant. We also have a goal of fundraising for $500, just so we can take steps. So yeah, the total funding that we feel pretty confident in receiving is $4,148. So when you subtract that from the gross income that I said at the beginning, yes, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. Like I said, the event, we are aiming for 200 to 250 people. Last year, we asked for 20,000 for the same event, and it was just for 150 people. So we are asking for a 5% increase. Much Excelencia is the only big surplus request we make throughout the year. Part of the reason for this number is because we want this event to be inclusive and as accessible as possible for all of our members. Let's see. We also don't expect a lot of surplus for this event. We did it in the past, and we historically haven't come back and asked for money for this event. I don't think we'll do this again this year. This event is a highly anticipated and respected event on campus. Like I said, a whole bunch of faculty, staff, the alumni center, professors, advisors, they all come here. And yeah, it just brings the community together in various forms. But yeah, if you guys want to see how the event looks, the slides show all the photos from last year. And we have usually the cultural dance at the beginning, and then it's tables, foods, a whole bunch of people. At the very end, I think you're gonna see some testimonials from a couple. Oh, that's me. People. People there to about that in the back, the awards. That's like the start of the dancing. And then something that I really like is when the banda is playing, you just see people from campus who can enjoy. Yeah, so that was very interesting, you know. But yeah, I'm very
Thanks so much for the presentation. We appreciate it a lot. One thing I want to point out about the event is it is here on campus. So like I'm definitely much more inclined to fun things happening here on campus personally. And then also it's in May. And so this is just being planned like far out in advance. Like a lot of orgs, when they're planning really big things, we ask them to plan these things like really far out in advance. So like just keep in mind, like when we get to spring term and stuff, we're probably not gonna have any more surplus dollars. So just like people are planning now in the future for things. So just something to keep in mind when we do discussion. We'll start with Senator Heffernan.
Thank you so much for all of your, you came so prepared and that presentation was lovely. I love the testimonials. I'm super in support of this event. You guys throw so many great events on campus. I guess I have a two-parted question. I noticed in your ledger, like obviously you guys don't have enough in your ledger to fund this event. You throw a lot of other cool events like the Fall Valley. Were you able to cover that, or did that come also from external funding? Because that's like a really small number too.
Yeah, the Fall Island did also come from surplus. I believe we came in the summer. Yeah, and that was a collaboration with the LFB and the chat.
Okay. And then since you do a lot of great fundraising work, and I'm so happy to hear it. If we don't have surplus in the future, do you guys like a personal concern? Are you guys looking at places to potentially get this money?
I feel like that's big for years ago. Number just gets smaller and smaller. But also as the event goes on and as we see other student orgs through events, we see how they're paying for it and how they're managing all of it. Jordan briefly mentioned it, but he said we used to do raffles. It's something we took out from this year's budget because one, that's not possible. Two, I think that we student orgs and yes, I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you so much. I know.
Senator Perez.
Well, thank you for being here. This looks really cool. I'm also kind of like in favor of it too. The one thing I noticed, it was around 20,000 last year, right? Where does the increase come from? I know you guys are having like or expecting more people, but
Increase is solely destination events. Everything else is roughly the same, but because last year the event was made for 150 people, the size of the tent was smaller, the amount of tables was less, we had less chairs. And with the bigger tent, more tables and more chairs, we also have to get more tent weights, which was where it really like bumped up the amount of people to the station quote. And then with more tent weights, they also charge us more for delivery. But it's mainly destination events and upscale capacity.
thank you. That was the only really thing I had. You mentioned like giveaways. My partner's always doing giveaways, so always looking for like ones to do with similar with ASUO. So I can definitely reach out, get you guys connected if that's something you guys are interested in.
Senator Stevenson.
To add on to Senator Frost's question a little bit, you were talking about the MCC giving out $600 to every club, and you were talking about different sorts of fundraising. If we are covering the difference from the 20,000 to 25, what is that fundraising going towards exactly?
I think because every year we do allocate money, unexpected, anything unexpected that might happen. And I think that's where like that number starts to get lost a little, at least when you're doing the math, because it's not something that's out in, I don't know how to explain it, but we do like the gross of how much everything's gonna cost, and then we allocate like $1,000 or $2,000 for the unexpected funds. And then when we subtracted the expenses that we already know we're expecting to get, we still didn't take out the unexpected funds. Kind of, so I don't know if it makes sense in a way.
So for clarification, I'm gonna ask one of the POC people, if we go under the amount, so it's like, let's say it's $21,000 for this event, does the $4,000 get swept back into surplus? I yield to Senator Peters.
Yes, either at the end of the year or if they fill out the form to return it to service.
Okay, cool. I really appreciate the work that you guys have done since I started on campus, and so I'm going to make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Mujeres UO, OS number OS 195, in the amount of $25,116 to existing line item name Noche de Excelencia.
Second Perez. Motion made by Stevenson, seconded by Senator Perez. We'll now continue with discussion with Senator Fisher.
Hi, thanks so much for being here. I have a couple of questions. My first question is just like what your attendance was last year and then why you're expecting it to be higher this year.
Yeah, so last year we had enough seats for 100 people, and by the time the event started, all of the seats were taken. By the time the speakers were talking, we had a whole bunch of people on the sides, on the back, and on the other side, which I do want to say was over 50 standing there. By the time the music started playing, you would see a whole bunch of people walking across campus and then joining the event. I think by the time it was like I was being one of the dance floor was packed, and then you would see people watch, join, and then like ask like, "Oh, what is this? Like, do you guys do this every year?" So it's basically because we saw how big of a success it was last year and how many people were just standing there not needing to sit down, and then walk in and just join, and that's how we got this number.
Perfect. That's a great answer. Thank you so much. Another question I had was about the goodie bags. I was wondering if you just give a little bit more detail on that. I'm not opposed to giving them out or anything, but I guess my wonder is like, you already have so many other great things happening at the event, and you already know attendance is going to be so high that maybe detail on the goodie bag itself, and then also like what benefit you expect it to bring to the already things happening and also the attendance. If that makes sense. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The goodie bags, they're basically like a little $1,000. We did $1,000 last year. We didn't want to make sense for us. It makes sense for us because, like you said, it's yeah. So we divided the 200 people we were expecting by $1,000. Whatever the thought was how much we decided to cap the limit on goodie bags, which is less than $10. But like I said, the reason to them is because they're like a token to remember the event itself. I talked to a lot of people, or I see a lot of people on campus who went to Noche and they're using the stuff that was in the goodie bag, which is like a pen, a notebook, some chapstick, fidget toys or something. It's something they hold throughout the year that they utilize that could be useful, and they just use it too.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And then another question, I'm sorry. You guys do have so many amazing events. I was wondering if there are any other events you're planning for the rest of the year that might also need, like in context, might also need support.
This is the only event, apart from all I live, we plan our budget accordingly for expected growth throughout the year. So all of our bigger events that we are gonna have for winter and spring have already been budgeted with our ledger. So we don't for any.
Perfect. Thank you so much. In full transparency, I'm not sure how I feel about. I really love that. I love this event, but also it's just like a lot of money, and I'm thinking, like, I don't know. In context, just not for you, just for everybody else. In context, like when we gave the Portland campus money for their entire year for the whole campus, it was a little bit less than double this, I think, or like right around this amount, maybe like 30K. So I don't know. I'm just conflicted because I feel like this is such a great event, but it's such a large amount of money, and the money like increased from last year, and I get that there's more people. I don't know if anyone has thoughts or would like to, I yield. Please.
And you're talking about the breakdown of it, it's about a 17 surplus or so, and I don't see 16 other events that do what Mujeres do, and so that's my logic. Yeah.
I yield for now, but thank you for all of your time, and this is a really good event.
Hi, thank you so much for coming. It was so great to have fun here at this event last year, and I know it was such a great success. I know Senator Fisher kind of touched on why you were expecting an increase. I was curious more on like how do you plan or how have you in the past advertised this to the student body?
Sorry. So advertising wise, we have online. Usually we start in the winter term and make sure to go out to the dorms, the housing forms to have posters all over there. We do advertising here in the evening. Of course, the ones on social media, those posts. And the idea we really wanted to facilitate this year was going into classrooms. Especially or focusing on classrooms, whether that be for the Latinx minors, Spanish programs, just to make sure, because we understand that a lot of people don't go to student orgs or maybe they don't have the time to go. So we want to make sure we're going to students in these classrooms so they are aware that the event is happening. It's an event for them. That is another way we were advertising. We advertised it also at the Fall by Day because that was also really success. We were letting people know that this something similar to look forward to is also Noche Excelencia because it's similar but more like the end of the year celebration. So, and we also work really closely with Mincha and LMA who also help us ensure where to spread out to the rest of the community. And last year, Patos Alumni Center also helped us advertise the word.
I think classrooms are always so helpful. We do that sometimes at ASUO. It's just like reaching people where they already are at is always like really good. I was curious, I feel like maybe you touched on this. Did you do fundraising last year for the event?
So last year, the year before that, I've been a director from Mujeres for it's my third year, I want to say. Fundraising wasn't really something people would encourage us to do, so it wasn't something we really looked into. Definitely this year, see the like more emphasis behind it. So I've been talking to people upstairs about how to fundraise exactly, but it's something we're aware of like the system that's set up here, but it's something.
Yes, for sure. I don't know if this was the same system that you're referring to, but we do have the new like it's like Duck Funder. It's like the fundraising for student orgs. Definitely shout that out. Just kind of emphasizing what Senator Heffernan said. We'll probably have so much down over the next couple of years, just making sure that you have the resources available to keep hitting on the event. As I'm sure it will like keep scaling up from here.
Yeah, I definitely support fully funding this. I think it's a very clear thing that warrants good funding. Also, to respond to Fisher's points on the Portland campus, the Portland campus, I believe, also has a population that may actually be lower than the number of people that attend this event, if I remember correctly. So I do think that this is I just think like no, I think they deserve all their money. You know, I voted yes on that because it's very important. But this has great attendance. Mujeres has been doing it for years. I think it's super important that we fund this. I would like to add on to other people's points on the
the apartment building things, I think would be really good. Perhaps if we could make more senators feel comfortable with this cost, maybe we could take off the goodie bag cost, because I know that specifically the apartments fund those giveaways, so they could probably fund y'all for pretty much all the money that you need for that, I would hope. I think that we should fund the whole thing, but if that would be necessary. Um, Yeah, and also, oh yeah, and the advertising has been quite good from what I've seen. Like I get their stuff on my feed all the time. I just start following them, so that's probably why I got more. But I'm looking at Instagram right now, and there's one whole video that has 12.8K views on it for the event this year. So it's really good stuff. The rest of them have like 4,000 in them. So yeah, I know that there's more people talking afterwards. Could I get like a sparkle pull on lowering the number by $1,000? Like up sparkles, down sparkles. Who here needs that? Okay, great. It looks like most people are good with the amount here. So I'm just gonna call the question even though there's still discussion.
Oh, we do. We're sorry. Okay, question being called. This is a motion to end debate. We'll go by acclamation. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. We are gonna move to vote. Perez. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Sorry. Aye. Hopperday. Heffernan. Amadita. Chisholm. Nagarajan. Aye. Stevenson. Aye. Burrow.
Aye.
Morel. Fisher.
Nay.
Westbury.
Aye.
And then,
Aye.
and I say aye. Congrats, guys. And next on the agenda, we have the Asian and Pacific American students. What's it?
When you do all the questions, can you just say like how many speakers are left on the list?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Asian and Pacific American Student Union. You're on for that.
I move to table the request from the Asian and Pacific.
Motion made by Hopper, seconded by Perez. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the request has been tabled. Do we have a representative from Oil, Hawaii? Promise y'all did nothing different this week. Thank you.
That says that the mission is starting at 8:45.
We spoke. Usually they would come down. We're in between requests. That's one big call to brief.
I move to take AMA off the table.
Second. Motion made by Ludeman, seconded by Perez. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. And we'll now get a request from AMA.
Yeah.
Sorry, we
I'll share the slides, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. There's an adjustment on the proposal section. I wrote it in the email as well. But I also have it updated on the slide, so I can update as we go.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you again for taking the time to see us.
Use the mic.
Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you again for taking the time to see us. Today, we're here to pitch for our Chicago International Collegiate Conference. So this is with our national branch and where all the different AMAs come together. And we really want to appreciate again for you guys seeing us once again and hopefully the last time. So thank you.
My name is Haley. I am the Vice President of Strategy for the American Marketing Association. And my role is new this year within the executive board.
And so my whole job is to ensure students get hands-on experience, whether that be through different competitions, through our client work that we've developed for this year, or for any virtual competitions or events we have throughout. And so I'm really, really excited to be pitching this conference to you all. It's a huge piece of what we do as a part of our larger national organization. So it's about more than just going and meeting people and talking and networking, but it's how to get these students in situations where they're getting that hands-on experience. Okay, perfect. So as you've heard from us before, we are the American Marketing Association here on campus. We're the marketing club within the business school. And as the AMA here, we're part of our larger international organization. So we've grown so much over this year, and we are also a chapter in conjunction with 320 other chapters across the world to get students really involved and devoted to our marketing club. So our chapter in and of itself has grown insane amount within this last year. So this is our first year as a reestablishment with nationals. So it takes 10 paid members to become a fully immersed and fulfilled chapter. And so this year we went from 10 last year to 71 paid members this year. And we have over 130 participants from all majors that come to our meeting and can learn, talk with industry professionals, and really get a better understanding of what their career could look like. So the part where I come in and where my role comes in is this is the first year that we're able to participate in these big competitions as an established chapter. So the case competition, this is our first year doing it. Throughout the term, we've had a lot of different virtual marketing competitions that students have been able to be a part of where they wouldn't have had experience before. And we've also established our first client consulting. We did this with the goal of allowing students to have that hands-on experience, really getting out there, working with a real business, having something real on their resume. And for this fall being our very first term doing it, we are working with an Indigenous client that has a specialized wood and manufacturing construction company. So we are not only supporting that Indigenous community and helping different developments and tribes grow their construction and gain a better understanding of how to have better homes that are more fire safe, but also the fact that they're partnering for a training program that will later help and influence the job market and allow people to become more aware of the fantastic training programs that they offer. Okay, and so that kind of brings us to what is this International Collegiate Conference? And so for us, it is required for us by nationals to remain reestablished as a chapter here on campus, which is why we came to pitch for LA, but this is more of a separate event, and it has different opportunities within it, which I can talk about in the next slide. So this event happens week 2 of spring term. So it is week 10 of spring term. So it is March 12th to the 14th, and it's in Chicago, Illinois. And that's where we have to pitch separately for 2 different trips. And so for us, this isn't just about getting AMA across the country, or we completely understand the situation this year, getting as much money as possible. It's about giving these students the opportunities to go and develop, to get those skills and to understand different career opportunities that can make themselves more marketable when they're searching for internships or full-time jobs. And so at the competition itself, at this conference itself, there are tons of different competitions for students to participate in with real companies. So the National American Marketing Association is made up of a ton of different sponsors, one of them being where I had my internship in Chicago last summer, that support this cause. And so there's a ton of different sponsors that come to this event that talk with students that want to be involved because they are affiliated with the National American Marketing Association. So all of these events, like the sales, the design lab, the perfect pitch, they're all sponsored by companies that are here to listen to students, to understand what they're talking about, and to gather where their experience is for their future. In addition to those competitions, there's also a ton of events. So one of the things that's incredibly important for us to provide is those leadership training sessions. Going from last year's executive board of 5, moving into this year's 7, there's a lot of redevelopment that we've done this year and a ton of work we've put in over the summer. And we want to continue for the leadership to be within our executive board, but also for all of our members to experience the ability to lead on campus with professional advice. There's also one-on-one career guidance and career counselors for participants to meet with to talk about their future careers, get connected with companies right away, networking events with the over 2,000 different individuals that will be attending this conference, awards and recognition that we can use to support UO AMA, and a ton of innovative insights from professionals across the industry. We have a speaker, Jade, who's coming in from the ninth semester, apologies, who is talking about what life is like post-grad and ready to get those students up for that secondary success. We also have Sean Greenwood, who is the keynote speaker. We are incredibly excited for the opportunity to hear from. He's been with Ben & Jerry's for the last 38 years as their head of public relations. So they're talking about different ways you can integrate that integrity into marketing, stand by your values, and make the world a better place, especially with the current climate. All right, and so the kids competition is one of the things that we have worked the most on this term, that we are so excited for the opportunities to bring to nationals. So this year it was sponsored by the MLB and Deloitte. Last year it was sponsored by Adobe. And so what it is where chapters can sign up for the opportunity to compete in a case. So they work, because the nationals competition works consistently with MLB representatives and representatives from Deloitte to put together a case with specified guidelines to distribute to chapters. So once a chapter, like the University of Oregon, signs up for this opportunity, we get the access to the case information, and we've been working on it since week 2 for hours and hours and hours to make this possible for us. One of my goals as a leader on the AMA team was to give students opportunities. It's really easy to find that differentiation between the people at the top and the members, but that is something we wanted to mitigate this year, to give students the opportunity to lead and to learn and to grow. So in this case, I've established a setup where I have 3 different interns that are working with me to build this, 6 research leads who are guiding other students throughout the process, and 29 researchers who are consistently working day in and day out to make this case the best it can be. We've met every Tuesday for over an hour and a half some days, and we've done a ton of outside research, both primary and secondary, with survey distribution and planning. So we're going from just a sheet of requirements to a fully built out case that we can submit to nationals and later present at Chicago, which is the first time we have ever done anything like this before. And these students are so incredibly passionate about what they're doing. We're constantly texting, chatting, innovating, and coming up with different ideas. And by participating in this case and being able to speak at a national conference, this isn't just something that they will submit for a rubric. This is something that they can put on a resume, that they were able to do something sponsored by the MLB and Deloitte to huge companies, and say that this is real world experience where I'm working with a company and not. All right, and so for the actual trip itself, because we would only be able to take a limited amount of members, we would do an application process to make sure that the members that are going are engaged, have the capacity to assist with funding for things like food and transportation that this wouldn't cover. They would have involvement within the club and on campus, and have career aspirations aligned with what that conference. And we did pitch for LA, and we're so incredibly grateful to receive those funds. And because we have both of those travel opportunities happening, there would be no overlap between the two. So we want to make sure that all of the students have the opportunity to go and to travel and to get these experiences without just saying, hey, you did a good job on this trip, you can go to the second one. That will not be happening in this case. And so the benefits of allowing us to go and for AMA to be able to attend this conference. So this will provide excellent development for the members to be in front of professionals, to gain that experience, to have something to put on their resume. We also plan to bring this knowledge and experience back to the University of Oregon by hosting open meetings and workshops for all majors to be able to present what we've done to help and impact others, and to spread that marketing career and even other careers that students are interested in, again, across all majors for this experience. And finally, we really want to provide students with these career opportunities. I worked in the business center at Lundquist, and this year is incredibly hard for students, even for an internship or post-grad, to secure a job. And when we are going to places and we are giving them an experience here at UO, we want to give them something real and tangible. that isn't just a rubric or a class assignment. What we do outside of the classroom when we're here, speaking to a Senate, or we're within a business club, we're learning and growing. We want to give them something that when a company is looking at their resume, they're seeing they've gone to a competition like this, they want to hire Ducks. All right, and I'm going to pass it up to Zia, who's going to go over more of the technicals with the itinerary and the financial planning.
Okay. Move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so this is the general itinerary. So we've reserved off 2 days for travel. So March 11th would be the first travel day. We would meet up in Eugene. A lot of this itinerary was built off what we learned from pitching for LA and trying to minimize as many costs as we could. So we would meet up in Eugene, have everyone find their own rides there, and then have our airfare, use public transport, which we also are having them pay out of pocket with Chicago's amazing metro system. And then all kind of transport in Chicago would also be funded by themselves. And then on March 12th to the 14th is when the conference days are, as Haley mentioned earlier. And the time can vary on that day since there are multiple kind of competitions happening, and you kind of choose and pick which ones kind of fit into what you're looking for or what your teams are going to participate in. And then at the end of those days, we also disperse. And for meals, we're also looking to have the students also fund themselves there to save another additional cost there. And then on March 15th, we would head back to Portland head back to Eugene. And then that would be the end of the itinerary. And then the next slide, please. And then for our cost breakdown, we're looking at a total of $9,888. We only have 2 buckets where we're looking at the cost. We have flights, which come out to $6,900 for a total of 12 attendees, and per member would be $575, and then for the hotel would be $2,988. And with that, we already have a special discount for looking into quad rooms in the Sheraton where the conference is. So they're already offering a deal. So we wouldn't also have to look into transport. That also helps. And then at the bottom, you can also see the attendance. I have there a crossed out number because another additional cost we want to cut out is having them also fund their own ticket or entry. So that entry would be $299. So if you look at it that way, we're saving around $3,588, which helps take out a lot of money. So we looked at as many ways we could cut out money and really have just kind of brought it down to flights and hotel to still try to keep it equitable and give and provide to as many members as we can. Next slide, thanks.
So the total cost for this would only be around $824 per member. So this would be under the standard threshold. We really want the opportunity to take these students to let them learn and allow them to grow. We would be able to represent the University of Oregon on that national stage, working together to get more opportunities, potential sponsorship and scholarships through the American Marketing Association's national branch, to elevate our chapter and to bring information here back to the campus to support others, to continue expanding our network professionally. So potentially we can place our members and different members of the university in companies and actual jobs and really just bring back knowledge and spread what we've been able to learn in this conference. Thank you.
Thank you all for the presentation, for being here tonight. We will now open the floor for questions, starting with Senator Stevens.
Guys, nice to see you again. So I was looking through the AMA website and I was looking through the ICC, and the last time the AMA came for this trip, they used the words like it's required for us to get recognized. And so I looked through the AMA website about get recognized, and it's a paragraph talking about like the awards that you could potentially win at this trip. And for required membership, do you guys use the individual or group membership on AMA?
In reference to like our chapter as a whole?
Like the people that are paying for it, are they doing it individually or are they doing it as a group? The AMA website option.
Do you mean like for like the entry to the conference itself?
Not into the conference, but membership. Like
yeah.
Which one of those two options? Because it says there's a group membership designed for teams or organizations to equip multiple colleagues for like large groups, and there's individuals that for undergrads, like just being a member, like an AMA recognized member, if they're paying individually, or is that a group thing that you guys are doing together?
Yeah, so it's different for us because we are an undergraduate chapter and we want to give members like as many opportunities as they can. And so for things like the conference and for like the virtual marketing competitions and the case competitions, they do have to have an individual membership, but that's something we keep as low as possible. We as a club don't take any money from that. And that's only $29 for the entire calendar year. So we don't charge them like every term. This is like a standard membership where in addition to having access to competitions within our club, the AMA as a national chapter also does tons of virtual seminars and exclusive scholarships to their members. So we're not, as a group, that's something that they do outside of like the undergraduate chapters, but for us, it's required to be on that undergraduate and individual level.
That individual membership, our club doesn't require it for our meetings. All the stuff on campus that isn't required to UO AMA does not require that membership. That's just for the national branch, and since this is their national branch competition, they just so happen to require you to have the membership, but none of that money happens to go to us. That is all within the branch.
The question is more, do you guys have dues? Like, does your club have dues?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, and that's something like for community consulting to keep that fair and open for everybody. You're not required to be a paid member for that beginning period.
And so then when you're saying this trip is required, what do you mean by that exactly?
That means our chapter as a whole.
Like, but when you're saying
like our representative there.
But when you're saying required, right? Like there's a membership that you can pay to be in. What is this trip to Chicago? And what do you mean by required? Like you have to go to Chicago?
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
So especially since UO AMA wasn't technically affiliated, they kind of fizzled out as a lot of clubs did during COVID. Going to this conference is required to start getting your recognition back and to be affiliated once again with the chapter.
So if you guys started paying dues and didn't go to the Chicago trip, you're not recognized, is what you're saying?
You would only be affiliated like as an individual, but we wouldn't be affiliated as a school.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, it's a little bit confusing, so we just want to make it clear.
Senator Smith?
You remind me, so it looks like the number that we approved for IBEC/AMA trip was 16,660. Can you remind me, how many people we decided were gonna be AMA from that?
Mm-hmm. So we decided to have 5 AMA members go out of the bunch. So that's roughly, I think, around 1/4 of the budget really actually went to us and the rest went to IBEC.
Thank you. I know.
Senator Broussard?
So y'all, I just want to say their presentation is really good. It's clearly practiced, so thank you for coming prepared. I just had a few clarifying questions about specifically the cost. It's a little bit high, and we do have a limited amount of money to go around. So I was wondering a few questions, I guess, back to back. The reason there's 12 attendees going, and would it work if there were less people?
So we specifically chose 12 because originally we were thinking of doing 10, and that was when we were still considering it, helping with that attendance cost. But then we realized it just wasn't very equitable as a club, especially when Haley presented it earlier. There's like 29 researchers and 6 interns, and it really does suck to say like we are only taking 10 of you and you've been training since week 2. So we wanted to prioritize more so how many attendees we could do. And so that's why we took out that whole attendance cost to try to get to a higher number. But this is definitely probably the maximum we could do while keeping in consideration your guys' financial constraint. So we wanted to stay under that 1,000 cost. I think I forgot to mention it here, but the per person here is I think around 800 or 900. So we're still staying under that 1,000 benchmark that we know that you guys really wanted to keep in mind.
And a follow-up question: how much is this going to cost if this is approved? How much will this cost per person to go to the event?
I don't have the exact number. I'll have I can also pull it, but I think it was around.
Oh, sorry, I meant after, after we fund this, people have to pay to go, I guess.
Only for their own transportation, food, and then this attendance costs.
Yeah, I think I yield.
Yeah, so thank you for coming in. I feel like y'all have come in a few times by now. I guess I just want to get a very clear answer on what Senator Stevenson was asking. Y'all are saying that in order for your chapter to regain its recognition, the trip to Chicago is indeed required. But on the website, it says not that. So you guys are saying that the website is wrong, or I'm on the wrong website? Yeah, I just want a very
I guess, but that's like, what is the process for staying recognized in your guys' view, and where did you get the information for staying recognized from?
yes, information for staying recognized.
Absolutely. So a lot of the information we've learned we have from our previous executive board. And so they have come to us from different meetings and conversations with nationals that to remain recognized as a university, we need to keep continuing to be interactive with nationals. And through attending this conference, that's like the way that they would like us to do that. And so it's like being as involved and interactive as we can. And so they are saying that this is pretty much very strongly required for us to continue as a university.
And in addition to also the previous exec, I also, so since I service operations, I deal a lot with the AMA chapter. So a lot of how we contact them is through their email chain because they have a list of it and they send it to the organizations in general. And at the beginning of the year, we do have to do like a chapter plan. And then there's one additional thing in February. So they require materials from us. And then in that chapter plan, they also tell us like what we want you to do or like your goals and like just the goals of like making sure you're staying on track to staying affiliated. And this is one of the things I wanted us to mark down in that chapter plan.
Okay, awesome. That's a great answer. I really appreciate the answer because it does say chapter plan on the website, and I just don't know what that entails. Another question that I have is three quad rooms, 4 nights. Okay. Where I'm at right now is I feel that this is too much money, especially since AMA is going to be going on another conference with IBEC at a different point. However, since it is required, I would feel a lot more comfortable if the number of attendees was lowered to 4 to align with that quad room. So the max amount for the price of the hotel, especially because y'all said that there would only need to be one representative.
For us, is they want to see more representation from our branch, and so they require the president to go. But also, I've been the one writing the case, and we have a select group that goes to present the actual case and materials. So we submit the written chapter plan, and after they review it and make sure it's like real, we're invited to Chicago to go and present and speak in person, and that's a team of at least 5 people. Just 5 that speak. In addition to like the president.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and yield my time.
When we met and discussed the trip, has the number of people gone up since then?
The number was,
I thought it was around 8.
it was, we had a number of 10 and then we also had a number of 8. But then that, like I was mentioning earlier, we wanted to consider trying to add at least 2 more people just because we realized we were hearing a lot about people feeling a little disappointed that like they put in so much effort that they put since week 2 and that they feel a little bit discredited that they weren't able to go. So we really wanted to prioritize trying to fit that in. And that was like, hence the attendance kind of marking that off as
I know for me personally, like it's a lot and it is 2 trips, and I would feel a lot more comfortable with the 8 number personally. I know that's really hard. Like maybe we can find a way to like video and try to interact with the people that did work on the project so they can see like their work in some way. But I do think getting 8 people over there personally for me is the most I can probably get over there. But not Ryan.
I just had a question about how it would be like what difference it would make from 12 people to 10 people. I mean, how exactly 2 people make a difference in you guys's.
I think rather than kind of seeing it from a perspective like how much more advantage can we get to this case competition, we're looking more obviously in the light of like how many more can we like give back to. But sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Yeah, no, because I'm thinking like cutting attendees would probably be the only way to fund this comfortably, and like, I wasn't thinking for, uh, like.
Are you asking like what the cost difference between 12 people and 10 people is?
Uh, no, like I know like it's like I think 2 grand maybe. I'm not sure.
So kind of the way that they have, because it's the conference is in one hotel.
Yes.
And it's all in the same place, which is how we can mitigate those transportation costs.
Yeah.
But the room blocks are only for the quad groups. So if we are having 10 members instead of 12, we still have to pay for the full price of it.
That's right.
So it's only around $1,000 more to bring 2 extra members because the price of the hotel would still stay the same as we mitigated the attendance cost.
So you would have to like go down to like 8 or something in order to like maintain that advantage. Okay.
Yeah.
I am a 10.
Hey Larry, thanks for coming back again. So good to see you guys. Yeah, we're just, I guess, making a comment about my perspective from our meeting as well. I think we had kind of discussed some smaller numbers. I'm also just considering the amount that we've allocated for the other trip in addition to this. If we were to approve this number, it would be above our current financial priorities if we're considering both of those trips together. I still want you guys to be able to go, obviously, because you want to like have the affiliation. And I think, at least for myself and maybe others, I'd be more comfortable with maybe a lower number of attendees in order to kind of maintain that trip, but then also kind of fall within I yield my time.
Senator Chisholm.
Just wanted to clarify, so for each person going, they would pay the $2.99 and food out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
And the Metro cards.
And the Metro card it's like $5 for a day pass. You can only reach a day to $10. And for other funding avenues that we really try our best with, there's different forms of like duck funding we're working through with our alumni and happen through the term. And additionally, the Career Center, the business school, they've had their funding cut a ton. But one of the things that they can still help out with is food at these different conferences. So we're doing our best to make this still accessible, even though the individual member cost will be high, but mitigating that through individual fundraising we can do and with the resources that we have available for conference funding specifically.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you. I yield.
Senator Stevenson.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I know that you spoke about back and forth with nationals. It doesn't say on the website anywhere that this trip is wild. For that reason, thank you. I yield.
Specify what I was saying earlier, it is within the chapter plan. It is like a file that they only send to the organizations. I can also forward that later because that's sent by the national branch to all the chapters, and that was submitted. It was around the beginning of school, like September. September 30th. And we had to also like create a whole presentation on that too. So I can also forward that presentation slides as well.
Awesome, thank you guys. Senator Bailey.
So National told you in the chapter plan that you have to come to this conference.
Sorry, that's
Yes, sorry.
No, it's totally okay. Yeah, in the chapter plan, they give you a list of things that they want you to keep doing, especially with affiliation. Like that could be like a list of like, how are you staying active? How are you engaging with your wider community? what are your financial goals and how much do you plan to spend? It goes through pretty much the list of like roles that our officers do, like they want operations, your budget planning, and then especially like what your list of events are, including the ones that they offer, because obviously they want to have all these chapters come in and be like one united one in their national conference.
And for us specifically, as we are like, this is like our first year of reaffiliation, there are clubs like Miami and IU that are going on like their 30th and 40th years that have built up a huge reputation and have insane like alumni branches. And so it's a lot easier for them to like get to these conferences and to pull on that alumni money. But as a chapter, we're just not at that phase yet where we can pull from alumni. Right?
Not on any fault of your own. I worry about these organizations that have these hidden like $1,000 costs for their members. They're like, oh, affiliate, just pay this fee, but then actually you have to go to this conference and do all these other things. But I mean, not your guys' fault. I yield.
Senator Broussard.
I want to say I care less about if it's required or not. I'm sorry. I think this sounds like a really cool event. I do have a little bit of problems with it. I think it does cost a little bit too much. I just came back from a conference a month ago that had a bit higher, so the average conference fees are might are around there, but our flights to a similar area were much less expensive. I just looked them up. I found some for 400 Chicago on that same date. I also think that the attendees going down to 8, as well as maybe not staying in the Sheraton hotel. I know it's super nice. We had a conference in, I think it actually was a Sheraton in a different city, and we found that that was actually so expensive that we just got an Airbnb outside. And Chicago is one of those cities that has really good public transports, so that could be definitely an opportunity. I also think if the members attending did some sort of fundraising, if they did it themselves, or if they ran some sort of fundraising event, I would be definitely willing to support this. But I think at the current rate,
Then a reminder, for orgs, one complication with plane tickets is they all have to be refundable, and it skyrockets the price of them. It's a UO that orgs have to buy refundable tickets, so usually plane tickets end up being really expensive to travel.
Thank you. I was just about to mention, yeah, we definitely would love to do non-refundable. All of them average like 540, 575, but obviously I'm the one who submits a lot of those engages, and I still have to do like the intent to travel to and get a finalized list, and then that cost also helps with like the fluctuation for the dates that are upcoming, where I need to kind of gather all those applications. And then also we would love to do an Airbnb, but ASUO also prohibits all organization.
It's not allowed.
So I would love to. That would be a cheap option.
There's just like an incident in the past. Something has happened for rules to be made. There was an incident with an Oregon and Airbnb. It got like trashed. So it's this thing.
I guess maybe 8 people I would support with some partial fundraising from the Elks Club. I think it's significant, and I yield.
Senator Smith.
I definitely see the value in this event for sure. And I understand why you guys want to bring 12 people, especially with how many people have worked on this. So I am in favor of that. However, like, and that to me isn't the immediate thing I think of to bring down the cost, but no matter what, the cost to me is just too high. If it's about like 4,000 from the IBET, I think it should be like 7,000 to 8,000 for this trip to stay in that 12,000. I know the per person is great. I think you guys have prepared so much for this, but I just can't get down with the price. I yield.
On that note, we have prepared another number, as we did understand that 9,800 could be reached, and it seems like the consensus here is that it's a bit high. could we take like 2 minutes so that we could reinsert that slide? Okay. I'll put that in.
We got one more person speakers list, so I will listen and you'll ask the question.
Yeah, I was just gonna, since it seems like we're all saying the same thing at this point, I just wanted to, call for a recess and also suggest, providing two numbers, one that would be for 8 people and then one that would be for 4 people, just so we can see where it's at and see what I think the Senate would be more to vote on, but I definitely do believe that it's required, because y'all are talking about the chapter plan. I think that we should definitely get off of that. But yeah, so can I call for a 5-minute recess?
Oh. So remember y'all, your
Okay, so I think the very much is that the chapter plan is something that the international discusses with the local.
International need to go to this conference because we need them much.
They said that they were gonna bring other options.
We go, we want to get to, you know, like, hiring guys. Please, make sure you can say we only see. Yeah, that's right. So I see, and their chapter plan.
Yes, what about it?
I learned about these because that's how. So. Yes, on it. I put less in it. Yeah, so. The students that we make it, but with the predatory, like special organizations that come to us for money. They're coming to us. There's all about them. It's for us to give them money to support their. Chapter plan, bro. It's like.
What did they figure out how big it is? We should be getting more on You know, I am. They look a whole different. I am on day. I'm on day 584. Wow.
What do you do? They told us that it's trusted. But like also, it says that you like
But I can read and write.
like not do your shit for like 2 years. So it's 1 year is put on. You don't like do the chapter.
Yeah, that's also.
Or,
No, that's also a problem, is that I learn Spanish and I know. They still have to like,
they were. So they were at risk.
3 years Spanish in high school and 4 years Spanish in college. That's like, I've done it in Spanish. No, and speaking is really hard for me because I always wanted to know Spanish. Never.
I was able to start off.
My grandparents, my mom. Wow. So you're like, German. And we're German. And like my parents got it. They don't get it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't really get what talking about. I like Italian, and I still. Wow. You got Spanish. Spanish, I'm still not so good. Dude, I know my mom. I started saying. At this point, I'm not sure my factor. It's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. Yeah. I need to.
I don't think we're.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I grew up with.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's the thing. That's just not terrible. Yeah, I mean, that could. It's not.
Well, awesome. This is.
Yeah, are any of this market? It was just. They ran out.
Yeah, I'm
Like, this is fun. Place.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I was just comparing prices.
My guess.
I guess I'm
Not good, but it's good.
I'm not sure how far along. I know, well, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, so isn't that great for me tonight? Doing it.
No, I like it.
That's why I like.
I just don't. Yeah, but then I feel like I'm honestly, so when I get that and I have
Well, I already, I should probably know when.
Oh, no, our air, not our air. Sorry, I did not. I walked with Fred. I was like, there's out when it's like the person that gives us like. Oh. My hands are off. Yeah.
I love Fred.
Oh, sure. I just remember that I came over here at one point. And it's on the line, it's 75, whatever. 75. He didn't. Well, I said. Okay, so it's bad. I mean, it would suck to be the guy who has to tell him. Yeah, they said would be like, she was like, I'm not say that. They have like a huge.
To be fair, like that day. Like right, but why the
maybe I'll have a better
well, and then the reaction. That's my.
Classic. I like, oh, sorry. I just couldn't see the. That's still.
Girls, you better. But, that's my thing. I think anyway.
Same thing as
I appreciate that, and I have to think about it, I have to.
yeah. Yeah, like honestly.
Like the, like get passed around, like you're. Yeah, but they're a mix. Yeah. So that's why I kind of. I know that this year I've learned things that I thought. Here, there's another like. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know where, you know.
Well, I think I'm just gonna buy it.
I could have tell by the way you were like clean.
I was like, I'm so sorry.
No, no, no. I was trying to find offended by the fact that I used.
Well, I was.
Yeah, I had Panda Express and I was like, I know I told
There are empty seats. Yeah, there's. So it's not. So you're like, ready, ready. Yeah, well, that's you're 12%.
Wow.
It's a bit, like, here, but she's the third, like, Your adjustment. Yeah. But like, yeah. Part of the problem is that primarily. Okay, argument left, right? If it ever gets away, here for a while, and I was like, hey,
Yeah, sorry, but I thought I. Oh, sorry, here. But I'm gonna ask about it. No pressure.
There's 18 name tags.
Yeah.
9 and 9.
Yeah, I've been looking at that.
Well, and 9 and 10.
Oh, I don't know, I think so.
The people are hard to see in there.
No, I don't feel like you need one. No, I think I'm not. I also, I was the editor of Final, and I just, I know I already have it, I know so many things that they say, I go, you know what? And I know people would break the work, but when people do it wrong, like, I mean, not that it's like, myself, and I think that on my story was because I look at and not about my like not like it's very I don't know like eyes or something. So bad. Watch out thing is if I don't not really it's just so lost hair and even oh my god I could ever do Friday. I don't think it's probably it's a lot of random tests that they're not
Oh, yeah. See her like that.
But I just don't think that like they kind of I love school so much. I want to be I kind of always been in front of the class, like, there's so much, and all of my students, it's not but I put it out there. Like, as a right now, I have, like,
Morning part. And so I'll just listen to it and I'm gonna give it.
I know, I know.
You weren't expecting it. Like fun. Like a 100 level.
And so I don't know. Hold on. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, but it's still like, yeah. I'm like 87. Yeah, it'll pass. That's not
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys don't understand. It's for my culture.
Yeah, we restarted that. Oh my god, I love that. We also like the beach there.
It's like,
It's actually really clear that. So we got.
it's like crazy cool, like.
Yeah. No, it was cool. The drive when we drove down, it was pretty much. Yeah. Finally, like, you know, it all. That was what I saw. But actually, like.
My expectation is.
We also got really lucky with Fire Lake. Yeah, that was also really nice. Yeah. So it's close to like even if it's not. Yeah. Maybe after that last day. I thought I did that, but apparently I put a drop. And you have to climb yourself back out.
Where do they put?
I just got it and I think like
It's supposed to be a while. I wish I could actually.
it's there.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like,
Are you in any gloves?
like it has to do with like. Oh wait, I get it used to. It's like a physical.
Oh, yeah, I get it.
Like.
No, I like, I wouldn't. You were like, no, the manager for a long time and then. Yeah, good time.
No, they're insuring it. Oh, it's really, I felt like, and okay, something else baseline, don't want to destroy the environment, but also, not like, oh, they have figure out a way to do this without the environment, and they're really short. Yeah, I feel like that. Then agriculture, something about it. To get together. And like
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's also like. You know, that's. Well, I'm just from Ohio, so what do I know? Okay. Yeah, it's clearly, that's like a something.
All right.
So good.
Really? Oh, yeah.
I was trying to say.
What time?
Grocery store. And that's like it. Anything that if I would ask for that.
Check a couple of actors.
I'm from Ohio. What? She was like, did you go surfing? And I'm like, I'm from Ohio. Come on now. There's 1,000 lessons. Like Gary. I don't. Someone call order.
question. What is going on?
Same.
Thanks for tuning in, Monica. I don't know her. I don't know. It's basically just like the thing that we create a priority. How much? We have an interview on Friday. When we're matching.
I noticed that you're.
You know what? Okay, yeah, you go over. Interviewing on Friday. They're really good. I mean, I don't think that you have to. Yeah, okay, I mean, loaded. At any point.
All right, and we are back. We will hand it over to AMA and they can present the member request.
So we did keep it to consideration what you guys said. We did bring it down to that 8 number of attendees. So that brings us now to 2 quad rooms. And then, oh, sorry, we forgot to adjust it as well. But we also were talking about how we could fly out on the 14th rather than the 15th. So right when that conference ends, we may leave early, or if time allows it, we would leave on that day. And so that gives us 3 nights instead. So the numbers are adjusted. It was just that one typo tonight. That would end up being 259 a person, and then bringing hotels down to around almost 2,000, which I think is really good for 8 people. And then the flights also decreases a fair amount, and then we are now at that 6,672 number, and also helps us fall under that benchmark for how much we're spending, including the chalet, and we fall under it currently. So this is the number we have. And yes.
Thank you guys for all your work. We'll start with Senator Peters.
Normally I am very anti making edits, but they did come prepared with these. I also was out there double checking them. I feel very confident that there is enough of a buffer in the flights, and in this total to make this happen. They also have enough of a cushion within their actual ledger that they should be good. I am in favor of voting this through tonight because if it doesn't happen tonight, it's very likely that the flights themselves will actually, everything won't be booked until after winter break, or maybe before. But as we all know, flights and hotels will change prices. So the truth is that if we don't move this tonight, they will most likely have to come back and ask.
To add to that is getting this through this Senate. That's why we wanted to decrease it as much as we could to save your guys' time and our time, because just with the schedule of engaged farms and with softs, the lineup for even just getting purchasing stuff before winter break would be around now. And I have to submit an intent to travel. So soft also does close during winter break. So that gives a whole month for prices to fluctuate higher.
Yeah, I was wondering if you have a cost breakdown for 4 people, because although I know that this is a great price for 8 people, and if this was your only conference, I would support passing this. I do still feel uncomfortable with the fact that there's also the joint conference with IBEC as well as another one. So did you come up with some numbers for 4 people or no?
We did not, because I think it just would be very beneficial to only bring 4 people, because we still have to bring 2 exec to even just help with the operations of it. and it wouldn't be kind of supporting that goal that I think ASUO also very much endorses and giving to the wider community. And we've been very much acknowledging your guys' priorities and trying to stay under that financial constraint. And with this number, we also fall under a benchmark of under 12,000, which I know you guys are giving to other clubs. So we wanted to respect your guys' priorities as well with this number.
And it was 5,000 for the IBEC one?
No, it was actually around 4,100. I just looked at it just now. It's around a fourth of the 6,660.
And then the other conference?
There is no other conference. This is the LA one, and then this, yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, I knew.
I want to express that I currently support this as it's currently constructed. I do think that if it went down to 6,000 flat and there was fundraising of $672 from the organization's members or some sort of fundraising event, I would support that as well. I yield.
Anybody have any other comments, or do we go ahead and vote? We don't have a motion yet. Senator Fisher.
Yeah, I'll make. Sorry, I wasn't prepared. Okay. I move to transfer spending from surplus to group name American Marketing Association OS number. It's help. I'm sorry. OS 136. In the amount of $6,672 to New Line Item Chicago Conference.
Seconded Peters.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Peters. We now have a motion on the floor. And we move to vote. Peters.
Perez votes aye by proxy. I say aye as well.
Aye by proxy. Peters says aye. Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard.
Aye.
Operative.
Aye.
Heffernan.
Aye.
Amador King. Chisholm. Nagarajan.
Aye.
Stevenson.
Nay.
Bailey.
Aye.
Morrell.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Parsivari. Lindeman.
Aye.
And I say aye. Congrats, guys. I know it wasn't easy, so thanks for all you guys for.
Thank you.
The next. Stevenson.
For clarification, did they ever send that plan that they were talking about that had the documentation? Or
They will, I believe. I think they.
thank you, Ayo.
Senator Fisher.
What was the amount we just?
6,700.
6,600. Thank you.
All right, and next up we'll hear Boy Hawaii. Thanks for coming tonight. Let me share your names and a little about your request.
Hi, my name is Caleb Correa. I'm one of the Blue Wall coordinators for 2026.
Hi, I'm Nina Baimona. I'm the other law coordinator.
Hi, I'm Madison Kladanian, and I'm the director here. Okay, so over here, I'm requesting 30,000 for our annual training. Wow. A little bit about our organization. We're here as a Hawaii club here on campus. Our goal is to create a community for students that are associated with Hawaii, come from the state of Hawaii, or even people who are interested within the culture and the community that we built. And so our spring luau or our annual luau is our biggest event that we put on to display our culture for everyone to see here at the school and in the community of Eugene. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about our request, and then
You can go to the next the significance of this event, it's the largest and oldest student-run event on campus, and it also represents less than 0.5% of the student population here of Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islanders. We've been having a consistent increase in attendance and participation within students and families that represent their heritage, like I said earlier, Pacific Islander and Hawaiian ancestry. And then also this is a great opportunity for recruitment. It motivates current high school students from Hawaii to join the University of Oregon because we have such a strong community here.
And then for this year's luau for the show, we want to try to incorporate as many publishing culture that are available within one, our own student community, and two, wherever we can outsource in a sense of like getting more education for other publishing cultures, such as like other than Hawaiian, which is majority of our members for this club. We want to include Tahitian, Tongan, Maori, and Samoan cultures.
We also work in collaboration with PCUO. They just recently came back last year, and majority of the members from PCUO have participated in our luau last year and continue to participate this year. Why we want to collaborate? This will encourage more participation within our Polynesian culture community here at the UO, and it also gives them an opportunity to build their members as a.
So here's just a gist of our responsibilities that we are holding ourselves accountable for. In terms of donation and sponsorships, we have already started sending out to companies and organizations that we have worked with in the past. We started hearing back from a select number of them because it's still early on and they're also probably getting a lot of confusion and mix up when it comes time to the holiday season. So we are definitely gonna, on top of continuing here, we're gonna follow up during winter break and during winter term as well. In terms of cost efficiency, as of right now, we are encouraging the choreographers that we have been in contact with to look at past luau's that we have done to see what the costumes look like on stage and how they look in certain lighting and how they look on certain people, so that they can take into full consideration of what we can use, how we can keep our spending to a minimum in terms of decoration of the costumes, and then analyzing for the next portion of our cost efficiency is to analyze last year's cost breakdown and see the holes or the loopholes in where we can substantially decrease, because we understand that last year, since it was our 50th one, we wanted to make it the biggest it has been in the past 2 years, but now it's a 51st. We want to calm it down a bit, mainly because we don't want to stress out the choreographers and making sure that like you have to make sure that you're teaching all these things, but like in the sense of keeping it more welcome and more opportunities for students to learn more about all the different Polynesian cultures that we can provide here at UO.
We're working on fundraising. We've been setting up fundraisers with companies like Panda Express, and then there's also another company that we're looking to work with called Cookie Corner Hawaii. That company is based in Hawaii, but that gives an opportunity for families at home to support us since they're not here with us in Oregon. And we've also met with Nicole Nelson on setting up an e-commerce website to sell different types of club merchandise. So we're working right now on hats, stickers, shirts, jackets, and bags of sorts. And we think that could be our biggest fundraising opportunity. And also been thinking about doing a like paid participate events within our club, like bingo night or like pie and exec. And then also we officially set up our duck funder, and so that's been up. And we currently have it up on our Instagram, and we've been promoting it a lot as well throughout our club.
Then to basically elaborate on what I stated previously in terms of how we can encourage and keep our cost efficiency to a very specific set a price. Also to elaborate, once we start luau in full motion with all the dancers, we want them to become more creative in terms of being able to create your own costumes. Like for leis, last year, I primarily made a bunch of feather leis, basically just random feather yarn that you can buy from like Michael's or even the Dollar Tree. And all you do is literally just wrap it around yarn. And so one, that'll help them be more creative and bring our cost down for costumes in itself, for that example. And additionally, this would also help us influence and educate them on. So in like Hawaiian culture and Polynesian culture, it is like very highly spoken of to create your own accessories for the dances that you participate in because it puts your power or your mana into whatever you produce. And this will then help you to perform better, to bring in your ancestors to said performance. Uh, um, for this slide.
Kind of touching back. So yes, we've had a big increase in participation and we would like to keep up with that growing participation. So we predict that there'll be more students participating this year than last year. Last year we had 65 participants and we had 10 people who volunteered. Right now we have 70 dancers interested, but the form is still open for the next couple of weeks and we do expect another like maybe 10 to 20 dancers. And we also hope to have a wider variety than last year. Last year we had Hawaiian, Tahitian, and Samoan sections. This year our plan is Hawaiian, Tahitian, Maori, which is like New Zealand, and then Samoan and Tongan.
So we wanted to bring this into discussion because we know that there has been a lot of talk about it. So with Matthew Knight, the reason why we want to continue this relationship is because in previous years we have hosted events with a smaller attendance policy in a sense. But because, as you can see, last year we sold about 827 tickets, which is the biggest we've had yet, and around like 800 people, give or take like 10 people probably, which show that our attendance rate was like 96%, which was really good in our perspective because it brought a lot of our families here. It brought a lot of our communities that like are based either here in Portland or even like more south of us. And then to obtain this with our current plan for Happy Night, we want to keep the same ticket breakdown from last year, which we will elaborate and mention in the next slide. But as of right now, we want to keep Matthew Night in terms of renting it and sound and lighting to a minimum of $60,000 to $65,000. And then sorry. And we project to sell around the same, if not more, because last year we had like about, I want to say give or take, like between 13 to 15 seniors, but this year is probably the biggest senior class we've had in a while at least. So definitely a lot of families, we plan to have them come up here to support us and showcase what we've done and worked with.
To go over the ticket pricing, we plan to keep it kind of the same as last year, but it is subject to change. For non-student and faculty, we plan to keep it at $30, which includes food and table seating on the floor. And then for UO students and faculty, we plan to keep it at $20, which includes food, table seating on the floor, and then general admission, which doesn't include food and it's seated in the fence.
Analyzing last year's budget cost breakdown, we saw that the venue for Matthew Night costed $70,000 in total with renting it and all the not amenities, but the staff costing $30,000, and then lighting and sound costing around $40,000, and then contract being $7,100 with photos, live music, and 2 outsourced teachers that we can use to keep our cultural dances more authentic and not portray a more it's the best we're probably like to not portray any negative like, oh, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is like what we think it's due, but like this will provide like having these teachers keeps us accountable for the authenticity of each culture and representation. For Country Store, thankfully, with all the product that we had was donated, and all we had to pay for was just the shipping. So that's why it was as low as 800. And then catering, because it was a 50th, we wanted to include more traditional Hawaiian food, which in turn costed more. So in total, it was like 13,000 or 12,300, and then decoration costumes costed a total of 17,251, totaling to 97,451 and 37 cents.
And then for this year, this is our estimated cost breakdown. We think that it's gonna be about 4,000. As to rent out the space itself, it's gonna be around $10,000, and then the staffing is estimated to be around 11,000, but that's where we can kind of work with it a little bit. They gave us the option to use some of our club members as ushers to save money in that area. And then for light and sound, we're estimating it to be 43,000. That's based off of what happened last year. And then this year for costumes, we're planning on reusing a lot of costumes. So we're hoping to not spend that much money in that area, but only to purchase more costumes to accommodate numbers and additional sizes. And then for contracting, we're relying a lot on student choreographers this year. A lot of our seniors that have been in Blue for the past couple of years, we like trust and believe that they're capable of teaching dances. So we're relying on them a lot this year. But then for our Kuiko section, we are using Kuiko, and then for our Asian section, we're using Auntie Angie. And then for Country Store, we're gonna do that totally donation based, and we're planning not to spend any money on that. And for catering, we're gonna go in with a fixed amount of $10,000 with EVKH again.
Thank you all so much, and thanks for all the planning that you guys have put into this. This is like a really big event, probably the biggest event I've ever seen come through here. So thank you all so much. We'll start with Senator Heffernan.
Thank you so much. I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit more to the return to Matthew Night. I remember, I think it was my first Senate meeting, because a lot of people here's first Senate meeting. You guys came because they surprised you with an additional like $10,000 fee, and you said you didn't want to go there again. I was just wondering if I guess what changed and what led you back there?
Yeah, so Matthew Night, we do want to go there because of a couple different reasons. Firstly, we've been there for the past 2 years, and so we built a relationship with them. And then we also have met with them, so we do have a date that is blocked off. And then secondly, we also
Also, yeah, this is all of our first year on exec board. We were on the exec board last year, so we're not completely sure of the situation, but to our knowledge, it was like mostly a miscommunication part. And so our solution to that problem is that we come in with a fixed amount. Any changes to any of like the lights or plus having it like have it down in writing, have the implementation of that.
Senator Peters.
Hey y'all. So first, I want to make a motion, but first I am gonna just vouch for them. And so for those of you guys that don't know, I've been a co-director for the Native American Student Union for the past few years. Though I'm not a co-director this year, I'm still helping with planning the Mother's Day powwow, which has been going for 56 years. And I just want to say that events like this, they just cost this much money. The powwow cost last year, it cost almost $100,000. So this is just the reality of the cost of cultural events, especially like at this university and in this state where it is harder to get certain cultural items. And the other thing I wanted to vouch for was Matthew Night as a location. The truth is, as someone who's been holding an event in MacArthur Court for the past 3 years, it sucks. It really, really is not the right location for the type of event that they have. It just, A, does not have the space, B, does not have the air conditioning. Like it doesn't have working air conditioning most of the time. So I really just want to, like, I have worked with them, and really MacArthur Court is Matthew Night is the best location for this. Like we've looked at alternative venues. They have been really, really trying, and this venue is the only option. Thirdly, having that relationship is super, super important. The longer that you work with a specific venue, in my experience, cheaper it becomes, the easier it is, the less those hidden fees come up. I think it's really important that they continue to have this event in this location, because I am also confident that they will not have those hidden fees again this year, because they are already asking those questions. So, all that being said, Make a motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Wheel Hawaii OS number OS 039I in the amount of $30,000 to spray luau.
Second, Chisholm.
Motion made by Peter, seconded by Chisholm. And Senator Stevenson.
My question was partially addressed just now, but for you guys, is there any particular reason? Because for college game day and for clubs like Mujeres, they use the Memorial Quad, which can hold about 2,000 people. Is there a particular reason why you guys prefer the indoor space?
Mainly for the indoor space, it gives our families, well, like this is a really minor thing, but because our families are from Hawaii, like when they come up to me, they're like, they really like, we're all used to it now, thankfully. But like we even wanted to try to do it outdoor because it would allow us more opportunities. But with outdoor, it comes the uncertainty for like when we have to do quick changes. We don't want people to have like actively get exposed, and like then that comes back to us because we're the coordinators for it. So the liability falls onto us in terms of how now they don't feel safe in this environment. But with Matthew Night, it ensures the safety with all the dressing rooms that we can use. In terms of staging, it is more sturdy and more reliable. We don't have to think about the weather in a sense. We can use Matthew Night as an indoor space to feel secure just hosting. And then after when everybody goes home, they can worry about whatever they have to do after.
Yeah, kind of going off of that, Matthew Night it just makes everything kind of easier on our end. Like all the tables and chairs are there, and they offer dressing rooms, kind of like what Caleb just said, and that comes with all within the rent. The biggest portion that we spend all the money on is the lights and sounds, and that's why we're trying to just come in with a fixed amount we're willing to spend on that. So, yeah, all of that is factored into the 10K for the.
Thank you guys so much for that answer. I really appreciate the slideshow as well. I love Slides Carnival. I don't know if this is that exactly, but I love all of the outlets. But thank you, I yield.
I also just wanted to express my support for this event. It's like has to be the largest student org event on campus. Like 800 people is insane, and that's why we have tonight to support that. I remember we were talking about locations and we were like looking, and there's not really like any good middle ground on campus between like the smaller ones and then like super big. And so Matthew Night's really like the only place I feel like you guys can go. And really hope that they don't screw you over with these fees this year, because I know that's so annoying and it feels like that shouldn't happen. And yeah, I really appreciate also like if you consider how much they're funding themselves, like out of the 82K, like so much self-funding. So a lot of respect for you guys. Putting on events on this size is not easy, and you guys are doing a great job. So thank you.
Senator Bailey.
Okay, hi, yes, seconding that. Excuse me if I missed it, but I'm just curious where the rest of the funding comes from. You have around like 20K in your budget for this, and then this would be 30K, and then where, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, so all our money that we make from our previous law actually goes right back into it. So looking at it, we have around like 21,000 that we can use, plus the 20 that's already in our budget. So that's like 40, and then the 30 from you guys. And then, well, with our carryover from last year, there is a like 7% processing fee. So the 30 grand from you guys will give us a little bit more leeway as to the 82 that we have on here. But we are doing a lot of fundraising. Like our duck funder that we just launched, within like less than 24 hours, we already got like $300. So like I think we do have a lot of support from families, but also like alumni and like our club members. And so we're just looking into like a lot of fundraising to give us more money. But yeah, we do get a good amount from what we make previously.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
If there are no more questions, we move to vote. Starting with Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Smith. Broussard.
Aye.
Heffernan. Heffernan. Aye. Chisholm. Aye. Nagarajan. Aye. Stevenson. Aye. Bailey.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Westonberry. Lunu, and I say aye as well. Congrats, guys.
Thank you all for It was just us. So.
Yes, thanks.
Genuinely believe that.
Which one gets later? Okay. It makes sense.
We're having an event tonight.
Yeah,
so I think
who
that
wants this? They had to defend this.
What was it?
It's 30.
it's another round.
I meant, yeah, but it's more like spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're saying now. It's like, what? But after all,
All right, restoring order, go on to the updates. We are gonna do our finance committee updates next, starting with PFC Chair Senator Peters.
Alrighty, we've been having a super, always a fun time in PFC. Highly recommend that you come join us. We have 8 hearings a night and we're cutting budgets every time. So it's a really good time. I actually would recommend that you come join us because it will give you some perspective when we eventually have to come back and set a new benchmark. Currently, if we keep funding orgs the way that we have been, we are looking at about 2,500,000, which is $200,000 over our benchmark. Just keeping y'all all updated. And so we have already reduced the requests by more than last year's PFC reduced in total. And we are still needing to reduce by over $500,000. So that's where we're at. And Senate and exec were supposed to have a hearing tomorrow, but after a lot of discussion in relation to the whole stipends and everything, we've decided to move the Senate and exec hearings until a later date, until we can all come to that meeting more prepared. However, Xander was able to modify the Senate request so that it is an $11,000 increase instead of a $30,000 one. I'll let y'all all know when that Senate and exec hearings are. You should really come to them. It's important that we hold ourselves to the same standards that we are holding student orgs to. So it's important that you not only come to the student org hearings, but come see what we are going to fund ourselves. And then I'm also doing Xander's updates, and he says stipends should go out over Thanksgiving break. So message him if there's anything wrong with your stipends. And then the last thing is, I'm stealing this from Tyler, sorry, but NASU's having an event on Friday in the library from 1 to 3 in the special collections classroom. We are doing a zine workshop on what does your heritage mean to you. It'll be really fun. I'm running it. And NASU is a cultural org and also a tier 4 org. So if you haven't made those requirements, and catering will be provided. So please. That's the video.
Legal services. We have our over realized funds. We also, part of the legal services request, it was 3% plus raise for this director. He's been doing a lot more, so we decided to approve that raise for this year so she can get it right now for the work that she's been doing and is doing right now. So that was good. And then we did Daily Emerald. We have one hopefully with Osberg week 10 at 6:45 on Tuesday. So come to that if you can. We're doing some vague planning and working with some other tags about things.
We've been doing a lot with our one time, but we'll probably have to send a full like summary of the things. They still have to go to the president, so we'll see.
Yes, I am.
And then Department of Finance can be chairs that are up there.
Awesome. Yeah, we had our most recent budget hearing on Monday, and that was in ed. It was really great. There were like 10 students that came and talked to us. We similarly to PFC, like I said last time, as we're going through our budget hearings, there's some stuff that we are like raising our budget maybe a little bit, especially after a conversation with prison ed where we had a number that was incorrect. So that was really unfortunate. Yeah, our next meeting will be Monday at 4 p.m., our usual time. We're gonna try and do 2 hearings on Monday. And one of them will probably be University Theater and another will be a mystery one that we have yet to figure out. So show up for University Theater and possible mystery. And yeah, let me know if there's questions.
And that concludes the Finance Committee updates. Moving into Senate Executive updates, we'll start with Academic Chair Stevenson.
Hey guys, for those of you that didn't go, Black Jeopardy, the first event in the last 4 years that has featured NABJ, Socialists of Color, Black Women of Achievement, Black Men of Achievement, and the National Association of Black Journalists. We pulled 30 people. It was huge. I will let you guys know about more events in the future. Next term, I'm going to have a required event for AC, and we're helping the Grove Garden move from where it is right now into across the street of the BCC. Those are my updates. Oh, and please Teams Cash if you would like to help to create an actual document. We're gonna make like a work. What is it? What is it called? When you create a resolution for the student ticket working group. Please Teams Cash if you're interested in that. Thank you. I yield.
Ombudsperson Heffernan.
Guys, and can you pull up? Okay. Personnel is starting performance reviews this week. Woo! So I wanted to show you guys the rubric that we're going to be grading off of. So that you guys just kind of know what we're looking at. Those will be returned to you by probably Wednesday following week. And then, yeah, this is our performance eval. I, what are those called? The little numbers? Footnotes. I put in footnotes to explain the the different categories. But yeah, we're just looking at like how well you utilize Robert's rules in Senate, your contributions, like both thoughtful and like, not never. You come prepared, and are you like clearly reading your stuff beforehand, and how do you interact with student org? And then just like on a more literal grading scale, have you been to your office hours? Have you been attending Senate meetings? Have you been doing event volunteering? And for that, I will be counting the street fair. And have you done your student org events? And then we have a comment section. This will be emailed out to you. If you have any questions, please let us know. And yeah, I think that's it. Wait, can you go back up real quick? Oh, if you've been to student org events and you have not submitted the form, the Google form, please do it. Thank you. Definitely.
Olivia, what was that?
Yeah, I complete that. I know that you sent like events that were in the form and the ones that I submitted were not in there. So I'm like, where's like the official
Is it the one you sent in the team, like the most recent one for the events?
To clarify, the list that you had sent out where there was like, these are the events that aren't documented, to Senator Chisholm's point.
Oh, yeah. People who have claimed those will get credit for them. That was just because when I initially made the form, I forgot to put in a thing for people's names, so those were not getting credit. Those events in general, if you submitted the form with your name on it, you'll get credit for them. It's not like they as events don't count. I just didn't know who submitted them. Does that make sense?
So there was another form that had other sections that are counted.
It's the same form. I just updated it with the new question at the top that says that has a place for your name.
Okay.
So if you click on that link, that's the form. Like, yes. I love resending. Yeah, I'll resend it. Anything else?
You teams or emails?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for clarification, I'm not sure if this is where your question was going, but for the org events, it can be any ASUO recognized org. It's like kind of just we're just supposed to like kind of get up there and like meet the people where they're at, kind of like just see what's going on. And the different requirements, I think it's one cultural org, one tier 3,
Of one tier 3 or tier 4, one tier 1 or tier 2, right, and cultural.
Yeah. Those are the only requirements though. Aside from that, it doesn't need to be like
yeah.
I know the requirements, I just didn't see the event that I went to in the chat when you sent it out. So I think like it's just the form because it worked. So I could just resend
okay.
it. But it's any new one would be great.
Okay, yeah. I'll double check that. So, okay, thank you. Thank you.
From that list you sent out, the first soccer meeting is also mine. That was my only thing. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you were, scenario.
Yeah, I was wondering, do meetings count or just events?
I believe they do have to be events.
Okay.
No, does it matter? Oh, good to know.
I thought meetings.
Okay, then I count.
It's up to you.
No, I couldn't remember. I think they count. Yeah, I'll count them.
Do you get separate performance evaluations for our committees, or is that just like
Only if that's something that your committee wants to do. I also forgot to mention something. So the total numbers that you can get added up go to 36 points. If you get lower than a 28, you have to meet with personnel and so we can like talk about it. Higher than that, you don't have to, but if you have questions, you can always personnel meetings. Thank you, Megan.
And I also had another question. So for those weekly little test things, are they also on there?
They're not part of the performance evaluation. They are part of your duties.
Treasurer Friend already gave the update and we'll go to deputy speaker.
Yeah, one update. We have started doing interviews for which is the first representative this week. Hopefully, I guess we can we don't have Senate next week. And then we still have Senate seat 16 and Senate seat 17 open. We're not really getting a lot of applicants for that. So I think that he knows people in those majors. It's like the 3 p.m. and design and then dance and then the education. Seat, please tell all your friends.
Sorry, what are we doing to advertise those currently?
They're being advertised on the ASUO Instagram. And I believe you're in class problems. Because you have 200 PM classes.
Well, yeah, Christian, if you need any help with class reps, I can definitely.
Yeah, people are within those majors that are like finance seats and would want to like help with that because I guess you guys are on separate ones. Then yeah, definitely let us know so we can further advertise that because we got to get more people to apply.
I sent it to like one of my teachers is in charge of like the internship listserv
for everyone 3 p.m. So I should be going out to all of them soon, hopefully. But it is hard to find on Handshake. So I don't know if that has to do with like the title or something, but she was like, yeah, send me the link. And I had to like go into the employer of ASUO to find it. Like couldn't look up like buzzword like senator.
It's like easiest to find when you start jobs in school for whatever reason.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if we could like.
Yeah, I don't know either because I've always gone in shape looking for jobs and it's like I just it's there, but I'm not sure if you're looking for them, it's harder. Maybe it's just like the names are so long on the thing, so maybe the title just needs to be like less things. Yeah, we can make it. Yes. But yeah, tell your friends reply. We'll probably not be able to get those ones filled though until winter. So.
I see Senator Chisholm, raise your flag. I'm actually about to be filling my updates. And going to my updates. UO Senate on the undergrad core education council needs 2 undergrads. One of the most important committees on UO Senate, it approves the undergrad majors before they come to UO Senate. And things that come to UO Senate just get rubber stamped. Really, like us ASUO members, like the only nay votes and everything. So it's a very important committee. And so Tyler or Senator Chisholm is on that committee and she has said that they have a desire for more people. So reach out to me, reach out to Kyler if you have any questions about what she's been doing on the committee. Do you want to say something?
So the undergrad council, it has to do with competing majors, but also course changes within the different majors. It's a bunch of professors in there, but they also focus a lot on policy. So if anybody who was on Senate last year, when I came and talked about changing the pass policy, set the deadline to be 9, this is a committee that actually deals with that, and it's really cool to like bring policy changes that you think could happen, like that one went through. And originally there was me and Talik and River Collis on that committee, but neither of them are there anymore. And the chair of the council just really values undergraduate voices. So the meetings are every other Wednesday from 1 to 2:30, but they don't always last that long. But if you want to be more involved with that, I think it would be pretty cool.
Like I was told by the Senate president that the ASU Senate's been like some of the most involvement they've ever seen from senators in the Senate committees, which is wild. And it's really important, like as Tyler said, like, a lot of important decisions are made in these committees. So almost even more so than US Senate. So the second committee is ASUO Senate committee. The over-realized committee is about to start. So essentially we have over-realized funds that result in about $455,000. This is funds basically when we set our budgets in our finance committees. We are budgeting the projections, and when those projections go over, that's over realized fund that builds up in this big pot. And our Senate rules dictate that we have to create a committee when those funds exist that will basically create an entire program for how we're going to distribute those funds. And it's basically like almost a student scholarship style program where like they come to the committee where they apply through whatever process you guys create and they get to do fun projects. So like if someone wanted to create art on campus or something, they could come to the committee and be like, oh, we have X, Y, and Z we want to do here on campus. So it's like funding student-led projects, which could be a cool way for us to collaborate with the school and like maybe work with student engagement ASUO to try to get that out there. So anyone's interested in that, Senator Fisher will probably be the chair from the remnants of the Surplus and Stability Committee that's no longer meeting anymore.
Not disbanded.
It's not officially disbanded, but the main mission.
It's been accomplished.
I'm still trying to serve it doesn't matter.
No, you're still for sure. And then that's really all I have to say. So Senator Stevenson, then O'Neill.
As a side note to that, the campus relations committee is disbanded, and so if you wanted to pull from that, I can give you the list of people that are now have free time. Yeah, thank you. I yield.
Double check on that.
Oh, yeah, we did briefly talk about that. If you want to be on that, for sure. I like put it on there officially, but I was like, this isn't even a meeting, so I'm just gonna put it down and we'll figure out who actually on that stuff.
Also wondering, how many working groups are we required to be a part of?
Like for you guys, you only have to be part of one extra committee outside of POC. Yeah, working groups are technically separate, but
You don't have
you're not, yeah, you're not required to be on a working group.
Like the ones that we do in Senate, you don't have to, they're separate.
And then that concludes my update. Executive branch, VPF.
Hello, everyone. Executive updates. Thank you to Secretary of Campus Life, Seisha. Let her know if you're going to come to game day and are willing to sign, or if you're interested in the football ticket working group, or let Cash know if you're interested in the football ticket working group. Week of relief went well. Thank you to everyone who participated in that, and thank you to Secretary of Basic Needs, Brayden. You want to know how that went? Yes, Steed. If you want to know how that went and you want to work on other basic needs things or have questions about basic needs, and what exec is doing regarding basic needs, talk to him. And then finally, thank you to Blaze for the State of the Union, or State of the University, not State of the Union. And we will be doing a deep brief, as he said, on Friday at 9. So thank you.
Who wants to motion to adjourn?
Adjourn. Second Peters.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Peter. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. You're now joined. Where do I?
Okay.